you honestly tell me you have never used your phone while driving? I know, me too. But we both know that it can be dangerous. To help with this, some newer cars have a special feature called a heads-up display. This option shows important driving information in front of you, like speed and directions, so you don't have to look away from the road. It's like a floating screen on the road in front of you. This can help you drive safer and avoid getting a ticket for going too fast. Not all cars are so modern, so to drive safely, you need to put your phone away. Thankfully, some cars have special places for your phone while you're focused on the road. One specific 2021 model, Chrysler Pacifica, has a feature where the second row of seats can be folded down into the floor. It's good for carrying big items, but when the seats are up, these areas are good for storing things out of sight. Just remember to check and clean them out every once in a while, because they can become magnets for all sorts of knickknacks, like French fries or wet swimsuits that will surely start to smell at one point. Keep some cleaning supplies in your car just in case. Are you a science fiction fan? I have some good news for you then. Turns out that flying cars may be closer to us than we think, and it's not just because they look cool. Manufacturers are looking into developing such vehicles for practical reasons too. For starters, our standard roads are getting pretty congested as time goes by. We'll need some other means of transportation in the future to be able to cope with a large number of vehicles. You can find loads of flying car concepts online for all preferences. There's one that looks like a giant drone, and another one like a mini airplane. The simplest designs just took a car and put wings on it. Some cars will light up a snowflake on the dashboard every now and then. In case you're wondering, it's a sensor, and a pretty important one too. It shows the exterior ambient temperature. It gets activated when there's a road warning due to a sharp drop in temperature. It may sometimes even come with an audio warning or a message on your dashboard to inform you that the roads may be getting icy, so you can either adapt the speed or change to the appropriate tires if necessary. Cars these days aren't just adapted for the cold season. They come with cool features to help out during the summer months too. I'm talking about those neat sun visors. Check your car to see if it has this added bonus feature. We know they twist to help the driver out even when they're not driving directly toward sunlight. Some visors can also extend, so they can provide shade to a larger area. If yours can't extend, there's a simple solution. Buy a sun visor extender. You can even find them online. They work by being attached to your existing sun visors or the windows for better shade coverage and visibility. Now, your car might have another hidden feature. Well, it's technically not in the car, but in its tires. These days, some cars come equipped with foam-filled tires. They were created to fix the problem of air-filled ones that often went flat. Why? Well, because foam-filled tires have many of the same benefits as air-filled tires without the danger of leaks. Regular air-filled tires can sometimes lose air over time, even if there hasn't been any damage. In most cars with this feature, the tires are not completely filled with either foam or air. They have a mix of both. A bonus of these modern tires is that they make the cars quieter. Generally, electric cars make less noise, but because of that foam, they end up being as quiet as a cat. Some people like the fact that they're quiet, while others prefer that classic screeching or rumbling that vehicles make. But even people who like the sound of regular engines might like the quietness of these new models because they are still very fast. Hey, I drive one and it's fun. You might have stumbled upon a button called AEB. It stands for Automatic Emergency Braking, and it's a feature that uses sensors to detect if a collision is going to happen really soon. When activated, it will automatically apply the brakes to try and prevent something bad from happening, or make it less severe. There are two types of AEB, one that only works at slow speeds and one that works at all speeds. If the car can't be stopped completely, the AEB system will try to slow it down as much as possible to reduce the impact. Many cars now have systems that can warn you if someone is walking in front of you and can even automatically stop the vehicle to prevent an accident. These systems use special sensors that can also detect bicycles and animals. However, a study found that these systems don't always work well, especially at night. Even if your car comes equipped with this added feature, it's crucial to always pay attention while driving and not rely solely on these systems. A little thing called lane centering assist helps you stay in the middle of your lane when you're driving on the highway. It's not a replacement for paying attention to the road either, but it can help guide you through gentle curves. You'll still be in control of the car and can turn the wheel if you want to go in a different direction. Some systems give you a lot of feedback, while others are more subtle. Lane centering assist can't handle sharp turns, and in most cars doesn't work if you don't have the cruise control on. What's also cool about this feature is that if it senses you've removed your hands from the wheel, it'll give you the warning to return to the correct driving position. A lot of accidents can happen when you're reversing your car, like out of the supermarket parking lot. Parking sensors can help prevent these things from happening by using radar or sound to detect things that the driver might not see from his position. These sensors will make a noise or show a warning on the car screen to let the driver know something is there, like another car or a person passing by. If you're planning to have a road trip, you know how hard it is to adapt to various speed limits throughout the country. Traffic sign recognition is a technology that can help with that. It allows you to know what the speed limit is on the road you're driving on. It uses a camera to take pictures of traffic signs and display them on a screen in your car. This can be helpful if the signs are hard to see or if you miss them while driving. Some cars with this technology can even change their speed automatically based on the signs they see. This technology is mostly found in luxury cars, but it is becoming more common in other types of cars too. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety has made studies that show up to 6,000 drivers per year have bad accidents simply because they were too tired. Sure, I would like my car to come with built-in coffee makers or showers to keep me awake on those long days driving, but some do have systems that can tell when a driver is getting kind of snoozy. These systems monitor the movements you make while in the driver's seat. It looks at things like how you turn the steering wheel around and move the car. If it senses you're a bit too tired to move on, it'll make a noise and show a message on the dashboard urging you to take a break. Some of these systems even show a picture of a coffee cup to remind you to stop at the next gas station for a refreshing beverage. Might save your life, too.
So you found your first gray hair, and you have a huge desire to pull it out and keep it as a souvenir. But the all-knowing grandma stops you from doing that since everybody knows 2 new hairs will grow in its place. It's one of the most popular myths that have been going around for years. When you pluck out a hair, the follicle still stays where it was, and it will produce a substitute soon enough. But it doesn't have the superpower to multiply, so you'll get just 1 new gray hair. The new hair might even be darker, as the hair follicle might produce another pigment this time. If you go too far with plucking, though, you might no longer have any hair in that very spot. Are you afraid of using your cell phone at the gas pump because it might cause an explosion? Well, there hasn't been a single documented case of a phone giving off a static electrical charge and causing a tragedy. All the no cell phone signs at gas stations are a precaution. Electronic materials aren't welcome there because they might cause static electricity and be a source of danger. Plus, you should be 100% alert whenever you're driving. Chatting or texting while fueling up might cause some bad consequences, like driving away with a gas pump in your car. A viral video made millions of people believe that if you see a wire tied to your car door handle, you gotta call the police immediately. According to the author, kidnappers use this trick to distract you and then go after you. In reality, there have been no officially recorded cases of anyone getting kidnapped this way. This urban legend must come from a 2015 Facebook post which mentioned the wire trick and was debunked soon after it came out. The idea lived on, though, and keeps resurfacing. It does make sense to look after yourself and follow some simple rules that will let you stay safe on the road anyway. You might want to learn some self-defense, park in well-lit areas, and always look around for suspicious things and people before you get in the car. Also remember that a lot of similar myths and urban legends are only created to grab your attention and get their authors some likes and shares. If you add brown sugar to your coffee, confident that it's healthier than the white option, it's probably not the best idea. Brown sugar does contain some minerals, but the amount of them is so tiny that it can't really benefit your health. Otherwise, it has the same amount of calories and nutritional value as the white sugar. The only difference is in color, flavor, and the manufacturing process. Brown sugar doesn't go through that much chemical processing. So if you're trying to cut your calories, it doesn't really matter which of the sugar types you add to your food. When you press the snooze button in the morning, you're not actually going to get those extra 10 minutes of sleep. It does feel good to postpone getting up, but the snooze button makes you feel more tired instead of providing you with extra rest. You have your own biological sleep cycle that adjusts to your schedule. When you wake up and instantly fall asleep again, your brain gets confused, which is why it will get harder and harder for you to get up when the alarm rings for the second or fifth time. In the long run, the snooze button may mess with your ability to get high-quality deep sleep. Another popular sleep myth is that you swallow up 8 spiders every night without knowing. Relax, you don't swallow any spiders at all. To them you look like a giant, or rather a mountain in the landscape. Any sounds you produce while sleeping, like breathing or your heartbeat, are super scary to them. So all they want to do is stay as far away from you as they can. This myth went global after a magazine article that mentioned people easily believe anything they see online. Well, the article was right after all. You don't really have to wait 30 minutes or longer to swim after lunch. This myth has been around for more than a century, as it was a rule published in the 1908 Boy Scout Handbook. It said that swimming sooner than 90 minutes after food could lead to very dangerous consequences. It made many people believe that because digestion diverts blood flow from the muscles to the stomach, swimming could prevent the blood flow to the stomach, give you cramps and even make you drown. In reality, extra blood goes to the stomach, but it doesn't affect your arms or legs. Food might even be good for your swim, as it will provide you with extra energy. And don't forget to take enough water with it to stay hydrated. Diamonds are super expensive because they're so rare, right? It turns out they aren't as rare as we're made to believe. Rubies, emeralds, and sapphires are much rarer and far more expensive than diamonds. Scientists have even found a way to create artificial diamonds, making their production rather easy. So that price people are willing to pay is a result of a super successful marketing campaign from over a century ago. The company that mined and sold diamonds spread myths about these gems around the world. They convinced everyone on the planet that diamonds are so rare that the price is reasonable. Plus, they've turned these rocks into a symbol of love and engagement. Movies made us believe all dinosaurs were huge, dangerous lizards, but in reality there were all kinds of dino species. Some of them weren't much bigger than a cat or a golden retriever. It looks like those smaller species were more numerous than their big relatives. Plus, some dinos, like T-Rex, were even covered with feathers, especially in the early stages of their lives. The deeper you go inside the ocean, the darker it gets until there is no light at all. The colors change from blue-green close the surface to more intense blues and then down to indigo blue and total blackness. Well, sunlight penetrates deep waters weakly, so technically below 3,200 feet there is officially no light. But there's another type of light down there. It's all about blue and green luminescence. It generates light thanks to an enzyme called luciferase. It breaks down high-energy molecules and produces photons in bacteria and some deep-sea fish bodies. It seems logical that summers are so warm because our planet gets closer to the sun, and winters are so cold because the Earth gets as far from our star as it can be. Yet, it's another popular myth. When it's summer in the northern hemisphere, our planet isn't actually closer to the sun. It's the opposite. The Earth is at its farthest point from the sun during July and at its closest point during January. Summer is warm because the axis of our planet is tilted. During its orbit, the Earth's tilt allows energy coming from the sun to hit us more directly because the angle is steeper. The asteroid belt isn't as dangerous as Blockbuster made us believe. If you were to travel through, it wouldn't be a flight through a dense and chaotic field of rocks smashing into each other. The asteroid belt is a zone that's 200 million or 300 million miles away from the sun. It's a very isolated and lonely void with much space in between. If you pulled all those asteroids from that belt together, you'd get a mass that's around 4% of our moon. That's why astronauts get really excited when they see just one asteroid smashing into another one. Otherwise, space is not that eventful.
Leaving your valuables or a chocolate bar in a car is a no-brainer. But there are other things people often overlook. Here's what to watch out for before leaving your car. Number 1 is aerosol cans, hairspray, deodorant, spray paint, household cleaner, and that sort. On the back of these cans, you might notice a storage temperature recommendation. Well, stick to that. Here's what can happen. Since these cans are pressurized, they become more sensitive to temperature. What's inside the aerosol may expand, and this may result in a crack, and then the can can blow up. Temperatures above 100 degrees Fahrenheit are already alarming, and it can easily get as hot as that in your car on a warm summer day. Researchers from the USA have figured out how long it takes a car to turn into a sweat factory on a hot day. Within 1 hour, the insides of the car parked in the sun reaches 95 degrees Fahrenheit or hotter, with an average temperature of 116 degrees Fahrenheit. So, if you want your car in one piece and running, take aerosol cans with you. The second item is sunscreen. Sunscreen is vital for your skin since it decreases the risk of skin complications and prevents skin aging caused by the sun. This includes wrinkles, sagging, and age spots. But when you leave sunscreen in your car, it gets exposed to high temperatures, and it can ultimately shorten its shelf life. If you end up finding spoiled sunscreen, you might notice a funny smell when you open the cap. Plus, the heat might cause the cap to open, and the sticky substance will get all over the car. The same rule applies to lipsticks and other cosmetics as well. The next one is plastic bottles. There are 2 reasons why you shouldn't leave them inside your car. Firstly, a plastic water bottle can act as a lens, magnifying the sun's rays and starting a fire. A fire department in Oklahoma conducted an experiment and confirmed that the danger of fire was real. David Richardson from that department says it can happen if the beam of light is focused enough. The second reason is related to your health. Many plastic bottles contain bisphenol, a potentially toxic compound. The BPA levels can increase at high temperatures, and that can be harmful to your body. There's a chance that this chemical can get into your drink after you leave the bottle inside the vehicle. Oh, and batteries. They can lose their capacity to work at full power when they're left abandoned in the car. You can buy a new pair and fix this problem, but it won't be as easy to solve the problem of leakage or a rupture. It can be bad for your health because battery acid is dangerous when inhaled and highly corrosive. The reason for leakage is again related to high temperatures. Battery manufacturers recommend keeping their products at room temperature. This fact is partially related to batteries. It's about electronics. Have you ever realized how hot your phone can get when it's exposed to the sun? You're driving, and let's say, looking at the GPS on your phone. Even in this situation, your phone can heat up. What will happen to it after hours of sun exposure? Phone companies are strongly against customers leaving their devices in vehicles because they might shut down, get damaged, or, boom! Personal belongings are another priority on the list. A wallet or a handbag may come to one's mind first. Yet, a passport or even some change you leave near the passenger seat is sometimes enough to attract a thief. Better to keep such stuff out of sight, for example, by storing it in the trunk instead of leaving it in the back seat. Number 7 is also related to theft. Life can be too hectic sometimes, and it's understandable if you can't clean your car frequently, but leaving garbage in the car is another mistake. Thieves tend to search for messy-looking cars. They think that the owner doesn't use such a vehicle frequently. How about plants? I know it isn't that common to keep plants in the car on a daily basis, but sometimes you need to move them. The heat inside the vehicle can easily dehydrate the poor thing. Medications are another thing you shouldn't keep in the car for too long. The constantly changing temperatures inside the vehicle can decrease the effectiveness of your pills. Authorities recommend keeping most medications at 59 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit in a cool and dry place. Important documents that contain your personal data shouldn't be left in the vehicle either. Some examples of such documents are tax forms, financial statements, and school transcripts. A thief could commit fraud or identity theft using this valuable information. And there's also food and drinks. Experts recommend not leaving groceries or leftovers in a warm car for more than 2 hours, or only an hour when it's over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The same rule applies in the winter too. Canned foods, for example, have a high risk of going bad. If a can of sweet peas, let's say, gets frozen in the car, the effect will be similar to what would happen to soda. Let it thaw in the refrigerator instead of leaving it at room temperature. If the product doesn't look or smell normal, throw it away in a place where not even an animal can find it. Don't try to taste it, just trust your senses. If the item seems rusted or there are some cracks in the can, it should end up in the trash too. Eggs are another example. Normally, eggs shouldn't be frozen. But let's suppose you forgot one grocery bag in the trunk of the car, and the weather was so cold at night that the eggs got frozen. Keep the eggs in the refrigerator before use. They should be hard-cooked. It's your only option. You see, freezing causes the yolk to become thick and syrup-like. It loses that natural flow and doesn't mix well with other ingredients. You shouldn't leave your pets alone in the car, obviously, and not just because of a potential rise in temperature. They will feel uncomfortable without you, their best friend, accompanying them. In their frustration, they might do something to get noticed, which can be, for example, ruining the interior of the vehicle. Now let's return to the winter season again. If possible, keep the gas tank of your car over half full. This can prevent the fuel lines from freezing. It also makes it easier to start the engine and hit the road in the morning. While keeping an eye on the fuel bar, it might be a good idea to glance at the tire pressure too. The cold can result in tire pressure drops. Not only high, but also low temperatures can damage some items. A good example is paint cans. They should be quickly taken out of the vehicle in the winter. The ingredients in the paint can experience expansion, separation, and clumping due to the cold. In other words, you won't be able to use this paint anymore. Weather also affects wooden musical instruments like violins or guitars. Changes in temperature and humidity can cause wooden instruments to warp, crack, or split. Glasses get affected by fluctuating temperatures too. In a hot car, plastic frames can bend. Or plastic can become brittle when it's very cold. This makes glasses prone to breaking. Don't leave house keys and garage door openers inside the car. This is an everyday practice for many people, but it's risky. They can get into the wrong hands. To listen to music, most people connect their phones to the car or listen to the radio. CDs are getting less and less used these days, but don't leave them in the car anyway. They might get warped, and you won't be able to use them anymore. Can you think of any other items you shouldn't leave in the car?
A slice of cheese isn't something you'd expect to find on your parked car. As hilarious as it seems, it might indicate something quite dangerous. One woman detailed such a story online. At first, she thought she had been pranked by some neighborhood kid. She decided to call a friend and ask for help with cleaning the car. But once the two ladies started removing the melted cheese, they noticed something strange 2 parking spots down from them. They remembered seeing a white van arriving. In it, there was a bunch of men staring at them. Since she wasn't alone, the woman decided to finish cleaning the car, even though the ladies didn't feel comfortable being watched. It took them almost an hour to scrape off the cheese that had already been melted under the heat of the sun. She did wonder, though, if this wasn't a tactic to rob a person, because most people would be so focused on cleaning up the mess on their car that they would be too distracted to keep an eye on their belongings. Or worse, what if it was a kidnapping strategy, since you wouldn't be able to see suspicious people coming at you in due course? She went on to recommend, if you ever see a piece of cheese on your car, just leave it. Your safest bet is to scrub it off at home, or to take your vehicle to the nearest car wash. They'll know the best way to remove it without ruining the paint. The slice of cheese may have easily been a coincidence, but some scams out there are even more imaginative. If you notice a piece of clothing on your windshield or wrapped between your wiper blades, don't hurry to take it away. Again, it can be strategically placed there to distract you while your car gets taken away. The best option is to drive away as quickly as possible and get to a safe location. It should be well lit and populated. Then you can safely remove the objects placed on your car. Some people have even found money under their wipers. It was probably placed there with the same intent in mind. Here's a method some people swear by when it comes to decreasing the odds of getting your car snatched away. Keep the tires turned toward the curb when parked. That's because when your car wheels are positioned like that, thieves are less likely to be able to maneuver the vehicle. This way, your car will require more time and energy to be moved, and it will less likely become the focus of theft. Another woman remembered finding a napkin under her car door handle at one point, but at that time, she didn't think much of it. She removed it and went on with her day. However, a couple of hours later, she ended up in a hospital, complaining about pain in her hand and shortness of breath. Doctors figured out she had been poisoned with an unknown substance. Unfortunately, scams are becoming more and more common these days, with online ones topping the list. You may be the subject of a phishing scam, for example, when you receive an email from someone who seems familiar. It might be your accountant, someone from work, or a retailer you often buy from. But if you look closely at the email address, you'll easily notice that something is off. It might just be one edited letter or a name spelled differently. These types of emails can ask various things from you. Anything from private information, such as addresses and passwords, to payment requests. Others offer coupons or gift cards. If you click on a certain website, it may actually hack your computer. This is probably the most common online scam these days. Authorities claim that over 114,700 people fell victim to it in 2019. Their losses were estimated at roughly $57.8 million. Then, there are fake shopping websites. To make sure you're always on the right one, check the URL carefully. If the website reads Amazon.com with a 0, you're obviously not in the right place, and you're probably about to get scammed. You can buy something from these websites, but the chances are you'll be receiving nothing, or the best case scenario, a fake item. Ever heard of form jacking? It happens when a retailer gets hacked, and once you've finished adding things to your cart during a shopping session, you're actually redirected to a fraudulent payment page. The scammer then has access to your payment information, like your name, address, and credit card details. To always be on the safe side, double-check the URL of the payment page before entering any sensitive information. Tech support scams are even more creative. With this one, you might even receive a phone call saying that your computer is infected with a dangerous virus, which may damage your device or destroy all the information stored on it. The scammer may then ask you to download an application that will give them access to your computer, even if they're located on the other side of the world. Then they'll download an actual virus on the computer to confirm their lie. It makes people think there's indeed something wrong with the computer. The next and final step, asking for a fee to fix it. If you suspect your device might be compromised, Always reach out to a trusted tech support or retailer. These types of businesses will never contact you out of the blue. This scam tends to appeal to people's emotions, targeting mostly the older generation. That's why it's also dubbed the grandparent scam. The targeted senior will most likely receive a phone call from a distressed person, claiming they're a grandchild or a close relative. The fraudster will then proceed to ask for money for various things, like to get out of jail, to be able to leave a foreign country, or to cover a hospital bill. Grandparent scams are really on the rise these days. In 2017, the losses from such scams added up to $26 million. But in 2018, they almost doubled, reaching $41 million. If you find yourself in a similar situation, try not to act immediately. Ask the person for some information that could help you verify their identity. Also, it might be a good idea to double-check with another family member before sending money to a stranger. The Google Voice scam is as easy as it is efficient. For scammers, of course. Here's what you should look out for. You might have posted your phone number on some website for various reasons. Maybe you're looking to sell something or offering to perform a service. The fraudsters will pick up on this information and rapidly call you, asking to verify if you aren't a scammer yourself. Talk about reverse psychology. You'll be asked to pass on a Google verification code. In reality, a Google Voice account is being set up in your name. Fraudsters can go on with their scams and pretend to be you while doing it. Using the newly created account. Rule number 1, never share verification codes with anyone. Online resumes aren't safe either, as they can offer personal information to scammers. They will try to contact you, pretending to be recruiters. Some might even take the time to conduct a job interview. Most of them pretend to offer high-paying positions, which you'll obviously be inclined to accept. But here's the catch. Before they can offer you the documents for employment, you'll be asked for money for some participation fee, or even for your future home office setup. To make sure you're always on the safe side, create a different email address, which you'll only use for job hunting. This way, you can keep your personal email unlisted and safe from any unwanted online scams. Always ask recruiters to confirm the information you've heard on the phone via email too. If it's a company you're familiar with, you can also reach out to their HR department to confirm that what you're asked to do is according to their policy.
It happens every 43.8 seconds. I'm talking about car theft in the USA. Yep, every minute someone loses their precious vehicle to crooks. If you want to learn more about these heartbreaking stats, here you go. Over 800,000 car thefts were reported in the US in 2020 alone, and Ford pickups win the award for the Crook's Choice, since it was the one most frequently stolen. Also, New Year's Day had the most thefts. Seems like we all need to keep an eye out for our cars. First things first, it's very unlikely that someone may steal your car while you're on the move, but once you park it, it gets way easier. So, you need to park responsibly. Yeah, sometimes you might need to walk a bit more, but it's worth it if it means leaving your car in a well-lit place. Improperly parked cars are often taken away by tow trucks. Turns out, not all of them are real. So, should you ever see one near your car, check whether it's real or fake. A real tow truck should at least have some branding on it, and its crew should be wearing a uniform. Remember I told you it's not that easy to steal your car while you're on the move? Sorry, but that's only partially true. Carjackers don't really care about the fact that you're sitting in your car. The trick here is simple. Even if you're inside your vehicle, always make sure to lock your doors. Carjackers often have shady schemes of how to lure car owners out of their vehicles. They may even set up a trap and sort of stage a car accident. So even if you see that your car has been bumped from behind, don't rush out of it instantly to check on it. Just wait a little bit to pull over. Make sure the place where you stop is safe and there are people around you. In case you get suspicious, it's better to call the police. If you're ready to shell out some money to protect your car, here's some info. You can install a remote car starter. It's not just a great thing for those who live in colder climates and who need to start their car beforehand. Its main advantage is that you can't drive away with a car started like this, since this mode doesn't allow you to shift gears. Any car has a vehicle identification number, or simply VIN. This one may seem pointless, but here's a trick. When thieves sell a stolen car, they do VIN switching. It's when they want to disguise a stolen vehicle and use another VIN from a similar car. But if you etch your VIN on each window of your vehicle, crooks will instantly see that you're interested in protecting your car. Plus, such a vehicle will seem spoiled for them. After all, they'd have to do the VIN switching, plus they'd have to come up with a plan on how to fix the windows, as they have the VIN etched on them. They'll probably need to change the windows altogether, and that's pricey. So reselling such a car would appear too time-consuming for crooks, and they aren't willing to put in that much effort. Come on, these guys don't even work. They're way too lazy to deal with those windows. By the way, some specialists can do this etching for you, so you don't have to deal with it yourself. By the way, if you want to buy a used car, a VIN can help you a lot. Some cars are sort of cloned, which means their VIN isn't real, but was simply added to the plate manually. So you have to check all the documentation before buying a used car. Pay special attention to the DVLA V5 documents and make sure that the VIN there coincides with the VIN on the vehicle. Here's another protection gadget. It's called a smart car alarm, and its sound is even nastier than the sound of an alarm clock. It can do two things. First, it makes a super loud sound that can both scare away intruders and attract witnesses. Second, it can send you an alert in case you somehow don't hear the deafening sound it makes. There's another secret mechanism that can protect your car. You can install an emergency stop button that you can wire to the ignition, battery, fuel line, you name it. When you get out of the car, you simply need to flip the switch. Even if crooks steal your keys somehow, it won't help them. They need to find the switch to start the car first, and it's up to you where to hide that switch. We all know that the more security you have in your car, the better. Crooks don't like to mess with technologies, and the statistics prove it. Tesla, along with other high-tech cars, were the least stolen ones over the last few years. However, modern doesn't mean safe and crook-proof. Many cool vehicles have engine management diagnostic ports. Sounds super convenient, but there's a downside. These ports can help unlock and even start the vehicle. So if your car has such a feature, consider getting a lockable cover. Always check whether you've closed the windows before leaving your car. Even the smallest gap is enough for a crook to open the door and steal the car. Yeah, don't tell me it's obvious. I somehow see cars with open windows every single day. If a crook really wants to, they can simply smash a window with a heavy object or even a rock. See what I'm driving at? Try not to make crooks want to open your car. That means there shouldn't be any valuables visible. So please, no laptops or purses on the front seat. Hide them in the trunk or take them with you. There are many options. Just don't show thieves that there's something they can steal from your car. Keeping a spare key in the glove box isn't the best idea either. Crooks know where to look for it. It's really simple. They've opened the car, which isn't that complicated, and they just open up the glove box, and they're free to drive. So let's say you still keep your valuables in the car and a spare key in the glove box, because, you like it that way. Well, consider installing a steering wheel lock. It's probably not that functional, but experts believe it's a working visual deterrent. Remember how thieves are sort of lazy and don't want to mess with various gadgets? Specialists claim that crooks are more likely to pass by a car that has a steering wheel lock on it. So even if a crook still wants to drive your car away, they won't be able to. Plus, it's not that easy to remove it. Now for the most obvious tip. It's CCTV. There's a variety of such cameras today. They have night vision modes, people detection functions, and really high resolution. Literally anything you might need. A real camera can help you watch your car 24/7. But in case you don't feel like spending money on that, you can install a dummy and hope that the thieves won't figure it out. Okay, let's imagine the worst. Someone ignored all of these simple tips and got their car stolen. What should they do? First, they need to provide all the information to the police. so make sure you know the color. I know, it's easy, but please don't use complicated wording while describing the car color. Like, it's not moss, but rather dark green. You also need to know the year, make, and model. Make sure you remember all these. The police will also need to know your license plate number and VIN. If you don't remember the VIN by heart, write a note on your phone just in case.
The most incredible technology for transporting things and people could be teleportation. Unfortunately, we won't see a teleportation machine in the near future. But we will be able to ride perfect self-driving cars with autopilots on the road and in the air. We will also ride flying motorcycles and take a vacuum train to get from New York to Los Angeles in just a few minutes. So, let's start with self-driving cars. The principle of operation of almost all such vehicles is the same. The car has cameras and sensors, high-precision maps, and radars that scan the situation on the road. A common system unites such machines. Each of them knows where the others are, and this prevents accidents or traffic jams. Of course, today's cars with autopilot are not so impressive. Many people drive them. But imagine what will happen when all vehicles on Earth get united by a common artificial intelligence. People will forget about traffic jams forever. Computers will predict dangerous situations and prevent them. But what will people do on the road if they don't drive cars? The developers will focus on passenger entertainment. The car will be able to tell you the exact time of the trip. Do you need to arrive at noon sharp? Okay, the car may intentionally slow down or increase its speed. It will turn into a real electronic assistant. You can have a meeting, order food, and choose a movie with the help of voice control. The driver's seat has a mini movie theater, a game console, or a mini refrigerator. People who like to communicate with drivers will be able to speak with advanced artificial intelligence. But, of course, there will also be problems. The main one will be the excessive correctness of driving. Scientists and developers are working on humanizing machines. Here's an example. Let's say the car is driving along a busy street and notices a man standing by the road. The car's internal system quickly analyzes the situation and decides that the person is going to step onto the road. The only reaction of the computer is to pull over. The car is slowing down. Another car stops behind it. The first vehicle has created a dangerous situation and a traffic jam. And the man was not even going to cross the street. He was just standing there, waiting for his friend. Deal with this issue. The developers of some companies equipped their cars with a voice. That is, they taught them to honk. In a problematic situation, such a vehicle will press the horn like an angry driver. But the car can slow down if a bird flies by. No horn signal will save you here. On the one hand, the human factor is one of the main causes of road accidents. On the other, a person can analyze a situation much better and choose the right solution. It's unlikely that a machine on autopilot will stop to pick up a guy hitchhiking on the side of the road. Perhaps this guy has gotten into trouble and he urgently needs to leave that place. Or maybe he was bitten by a snake and he needs to go to a hospital. The computer can't know that, but a kind person behind the wheel will stop and offer help. Even if the world gets rid of traffic jams, people will strive for something more, whether on the road or in the air. Many engineers believe that autonomous flying taxis and buses are the future of transport. But gravity-powered flights will appear in the distant future. Such machines will work on the principle of a helicopter. They will be stylish small helicopters equipped with autopilot. Uber and other companies are investing in such technologies, and you might soon be able to use them. Let's say you're late for some event. You open the app and book the helicopter closest to you. Next, you go to the roof, where many aircraft are parked. Then your pilot takes you to the parking lot of your destination. And from there, you quickly reach the location you need. And imagine the same thing, but for many people at once. You arrive at a particular train station and get on a bus with wings. It takes off and follows a long route. taking you and other passengers to another city. And what if such giant buses could take you into space? Not only cars will have propellers, but also motorcycles. There are already hover bikes designed for one passenger. You put on a helmet and sit on a small device. In 2025, you will be able to buy such bikes for $50,000. Unlike flying cars, hover bikes cannot take off to a great height or accelerate to high speeds. But in the future, this technology will evolve. Air taxis and autopilot cars only work in the air or on smooth roads. But what if you need to cross an area with a mountainous landscape or swamps? For such off-road areas, Hyundai has developed the coolest SUV. Instead of wheels, it has legs. This walking vehicle passes through difficult sections and does it with maximum comfort. Each leg has knees and can bend. It will take you to a high hill or even to the top of a volcano. Soon, you won't need to go shopping because stores will come to you. Toyota has already created an unusual car you can turn into a store with any goods. Clothes, groceries, toys, jewelry, whatever. Such vehicles could improve delivery services and provide more comfort to people on trips. But the most incredible technology that will appear in the future is the Hyperloop. It's a train on an aerodynamic cushion. Imagine a capsule traveling at a speed of 760 miles per hour inside a vacuum tube. The interior resembles a spaceship capsule. You take your seat and fasten your seatbelt. Right now, you're accelerating to a speed that exceeds the speed of sound. But inside the cabin, you don't feel this speed. If you watch this train from the side, it will pass by you faster than you blink, and that's how it works. You know air hockey, right? The puck easily flies through the entire area because small holes all over the field release a thin layer of air. The puck doesn't touch the field itself, it levitates. There's no friction, so it just moves around the area. The Hyperloop works on a similar principle, but the air is coming from the capsule, not from the tube. Thus, a tiny distance appears between the capsule's walls and the tunnel. And with the help of an electric motor, the train is set in motion. Okay, we figured out the friction force, but what about air resistance? The fact is that at very high speeds, large objects can't move quickly if the air is very dense. You literally crash into the air, and it limits your speed. Standard airplanes fly at an altitude with much lower air density to develop high speed. That's why the Hyperloop will move inside the pipe. Special equipment pumping the air out of this pipe will work on certain sections of this route, but some air will still be there since creating a complete vacuum requires a lot of energy. A special fan on the train's nose will move all the incoming air under the capsule. The movement of a vacuum train resembles the work of pneumatic mail. This is when parcels pass through pipes installed in a building, and these parcels move through the pipes thanks to air compression. The Hyperloop should work using solar panels installed on the roof of the pipe. Elon Musk has long come up with this idea, but its development has some difficulties. The air gap between the tube and the capsule must always be the same. Any pipe crack, bump, or stone can destroy the entire structure. What if a small earthquake happens somewhere? But if engineers manage to develop this technology, we will be traveling from Los Angeles to New York in just a few minutes. There are different things in this world that divide people into two camps: the red pill or the blue one, the dark side of the Force or the light side of the Force, PC or Mac. Today, we're talking about this pair: Ferrari, Lamborghini. Once you make your choice, it's for life. For decades, Ferrari and Lamborghini have been presented as rivals. But here's the thing. In reality, they have never even been competitors. So here it is, the real story behind the two legendary car brands. Ferrari came first. Let me take you to Modena, a rather small city in northern Italy. There, in the 1920s, a race car driver called Enzo Ferrari drives an Alfa Romeo and wins several racing awards. Not only does he like to race, but he's also interested in everything behind the scenes, like the management and development of Alfa Romeo cars. But there's a dark cloud over his profession. Two outstanding race car drivers, Ugo Savacci and Antonio Ascari, suddenly pass away. This deeply affects young Ferrari. It makes him clearly see the true cost of being engaged in such a dangerous sport. After the birth of his son Alfredo, Enzo Ferrari officially retires from the racing sport. Well, by that time, he's participated in 41 Grand Prix and won 11. But not being a racer anymore doesn't mean that Ferrari quits racing completely. After all, it is his true passion. After retiring, Enzo Ferrari builds his own race team called Scuderia Ferrari. No wonder that with such an outstanding mentor, the team becomes incredibly successful. And they appear with a team emblem on their Alfa Romeo cars, a prancing horse. In 1933, Alfa Romeo stopped supporting Scuderia drivers because of financial reasons. In 1937, the team is dissolved. Ferrari works for Alfa Romeo for several more years, but leaves after a disagreement with the manager. He founds a company that supplies parts to racing teams and manufactures his first two cars. Finally, in 1947, he founds a company called Ferrari and starts producing cars bearing his name and adorned with that prancing horse emblem. Of course, being obsessed with races, he puts the focus on speed and performance, neglecting the comfort of the driver. As long as they drive fast and win races, the rest doesn't matter much to the founder. Ferrari starts a new successful team racing his cars, which quite soon makes the brand incredibly popular. The thing is that Ferrari doesn't only produce racing cars. To expand the company and attract more customers, they manufacture cars for city drivers too. Just like race cars, they're fast, but also uncomfortable, noisy, and rough to drive, especially for a long time. And this is where Ferruccio Lamborghini comes into play. Born in a simple family of farmers, he's been growing up in rural Italy. Unlike Mr. Ferrari, this young man has no interest in races, but Lamborghini is obsessed with farming machinery. So, later, he studies mechanics, founds a company called Lamborghini Trattori, and starts to manufacture tractors. Yes, the first Lamborghinis are tractors. The business is going well, and quite soon, our second protagonist becomes a wealthy man buying fancy cars. He has many models, but our story is about a particular brand. So, in 1958, he buys an expensive Ferrari 250 GT. And the car disappoints him. Don't get me wrong, he admits that it's a good car, but it's too rough for a road car and way too noisy. In addition, there are constant problems with the clutch, so Mr. Lamborghini takes frequent trips to technicians, but the problem doesn't go away. Finally, he finds out that some of the spare parts used to assemble an extremely expensive Ferrari are the same parts used to assemble Lamborghini tractors. Completely annoyed with this, Lamborghini starts seeking an opportunity to speak to Mr. Ferrari himself, and he finds it. During the meeting, he tells Enzo Ferrari everything that's wrong with his cars, but Mr. Ferrari doesn't care and doesn't take criticism. He's very confident and satisfied with his models. His cars are the fastest in the world, and that's what matters. So he tells Lamborghini to design his own car if he's so smart, but better stick to building his tractors and get lost. Lamborghini has no intention of getting lost. Instead, he modifies his Ferrari so that it outperforms the original models. The guy starts producing his own cars, but as a customer who's not satisfied with the models on the market, he places the focus on comfort and reliability. He takes the flaws of all the cars he has owned into account when designing a new one. No problems with the clutch, more space, not noisy, not too hot, and so on. Ferruccio Lamborghini isn't into races. He's a wealthy man, and he wants the most out of a car for the money he pays. He wants a flawless Gran Turismo car, and he starts manufacturing them for like-minded people. Less than a year after the talk with Enzo Ferrari and opening the factory, he presents the first car, the 350 GTV. The biggest point of criticism is the design, which the public doesn't take well. So, Lamborghini redoes it completely, and that's how the 350 GT Lamborghini model is born. We all know the logo of the brand, a raging bull on a black background. But why a bull? Well, there's two reasons. First, Ferruccio Lamborghini's zodiac sign is Taurus. Second, he's fond of bulls, finding them powerful and elegant. Some car models are even called after some bulls. For example, Lamborghini Diablo gets named after a bull called Diablo that was famous in the 19th century. Lamborghini Murcielago is named after another extraordinary bull as well. And after all, a bull is strong and can be a good symbol for a powerful car, don't you think? From the very beginning, a Lamborghini is a luxury car competing with the already famous Ferraris, Jaguars, and Maseratis. At first, people aren't very eager to pay a big sum of money to buy a car from a person who used to produce tractors. But Ferruccio Lamborghini isn't afraid to promote and show off his creation. Some journalists get impressed with the car and shower it with compliments, and that's how the vehicle makes it into the world and into people's hearts. So, bottom line, originally, Ferraris are extra powerful and extra fast. But outside the racing track, they're quite inconvenient. Lamborghinis are comfortable, better equipped, better handled cars providing a smooth ride, but they're not as fast as Ferraris. In the 1960s and 70s, they were not yet supposed to be extra fast, as Ferruccio Lamborghini didn't see the point in races. So, you see, those are two completely different cars, manufactured for different people and different purposes. They're not competitors, and they're impossible to compare. Lamborghini didn't even want to make a racing car, but we know what they are today. So, what happened next? At the dawn of the 1980s, Larousse, the French Formula One team, asked a famous designer to produce a new engine. And the designer contacted his friends at Lamborghini with an offer to collaborate. Soon after, a Lamborghini engine, not yet a car, debuted at Formula One. It wasn't a raging success at the beginning, but the engines looked promising and they kept producing them and supplying them to different car brands. In 1991, a rich businessman requested to produce not only an engine, but a whole Lamborghini race car, and the offer was too good to decline. That car didn't perform too well, but it was the beginning. Over the years, both Ferrari and Lamborghini started to improve what they were lacking. Ferrari started to produce more convenient models for the roads, and Lamborghini worked its way up to the racing level, improving the engine and the speed. Still, even though these are the top two supercars even today, they are staying loyal to their original philosophies, with Ferrari putting more emphasis on speed and remaining the fastest, and Lamborghini producing road cars, more comfortable and luxurious. So, if we look closely, they're not really competitors. They're way too different. True car fans will tell them apart from a mile away because they both have their own style. Ferraris have a smooth design, and Lamborghinis are edgier and are designed to be more aerodynamic. What side are you on?
If you ever find yourself stuck in the trunk of your car, stay calm. All cars are supposed to be equipped with an emergency latch to help open the trunk from the inside in the unlikely case it happens. These latches are so well thought out that they can be opened by people of all ages. More so, handles are designed to glow in the dark, too. You can even pull them with the mouth if there's not enough wiggle room to use your hands. Never mind how you ended up in the trunk in the first place. Moving on. If you're ever working with needle and thread, remember you don't need to stick the needle directly into the spool. You may end up losing the needle altogether. Not to mention you can easily hurt your fingers. A lot of modern sewing kits these days come with a designated place for safeguarding the needles. It's located at the bottom part of the thread spool. You'll just need to pull it out. It's even made to hold multiple sewing needles at a time. Disposable ballpoint pens come with a little secret of their own. Did you ever notice that in some of them, there's a small hole in the plastic part? It's actually a rudimentary ventilation system. It's supposed to let the ink easily make it to the tip of the pen. Okay, I know it's in the name, but you really don't need to shake the seasoning shaker to get any product out. Don't believe me? Hey, you're not the only one. Go grab your favorite seasoning bottle out of your pantry. If it has one of those removable plastic caps, it's perfect for the experiment. Instead of shaking the bottle, try holding it from the plastic cap while it's upside down. Now, gently twist the bottle from side to side and, before you know it, you get some gorgeously flowing seasoning without having to wiggle the shaker and make a mess all over the stove. On the same note, most salt and pepper shakers should have ridges on the bottom of the glass portion. In case you get any seasoning stuck in there, place the bottom of the salt shaker against the bottom of the pepper shaker and wiggle it around so the ridges click with each other. The seasoning should easily pour out now without you having to open the bottle. In colder weather, you often have so many clothing layers on you that you can hardly feel the purse or back straps on your shoulder anymore. Not to mention how fast they can slide off. Some jackets come with a built-in solution for that, in the form of a small tab on the shoulder with either a hook or a button. It's meant to be opened and closed comfortably, so you can keep your purse in place at any time. You're most likely using it merely to peel the skin of potatoes, carrots, or cucumbers. But you can use your vegetable peeler for chopping fine strips of onion as well. Just cut the onion into quarters vertically and then start slicing. This might also help out with those embarrassing onion tears. Most people miss this one, but should you ever have a closer look at your toothpaste tube, you will surely see some sort of coloring there, either a dot or a block. Colors can vary. They can be black, green, red, or even blue. These color spots are actually meant to help the assembly machines back at the toothpaste factory. They recognize when and where these machines need to cut the toothpaste tubes and proceed to fold them for packaging. For most types of footwear, if there's anything that seems a bit out of place, always know that it's there for a reason. Most manufacturers don't put extra items on shoes just for fun. It would definitely be a waste of time and resources. For footwear like boots, for example, there's often a small loop at the top back of the shoe. It's there to help you when you need to put the shoe on, since you can quickly pull on it. Plus, you can also hang the shoes somewhere, most likely to dry, since most boots are meant to be worn in the colder weather. Now, I've been guilty at least once of overdressing with a bunch of layers just so I won't need to jam everything in my check-in bag. But does it become a problem when you actually have to get seated? What do you do with your coat or your jacket? Well, have a closer look next time you board a plane on the seat in front of you. The hook that keeps the tray table upright can double as a jacket hook. As long as you don't need to have any meals while in the air, you're good to go. Now, most mascaras expire within 3 to 6 months, I'm told, depending on the manufacturer. But you can help speed up that process if you're not careful enough. Continuously pumping the mascara wand, trying to mix in the product actually pushes more air into the tube. This can make it dry much faster, and you evidently won't get the desired results with it anymore. There's an easy way to check if your mascara is still good enough to use. If you don't hear a popping noise when you take the brush out, you may very well need to go get yourself a new mascara tube. Now, I know we're living in the era of Bluetooth-connected devices, but for better quality sound, they still recommend using headphones that connect via audio jacks. Remember seeing black ridges on those jacks? They aren't there just to make them fit when you plug them into your phone or laptop. Made out of a special insulating material, these bands are meant to guard the wires when sound is being transmitted. Based on the number of bands, you can figure out which end goes where. Some empty space under noodles in a cup doesn't mean the company producing them wants to cheat you out of a full portion. No. It's a manner of keeping the noodles intact during their transportation. It also helps with the circulation of hot water that is poured over the products before you can enjoy them. The V-shaped neckline was initially designed to serve a bunch of objectives. First, as a way of prolonging the life of the garment that would maintain its shape over the years. It's also there to fit your head through the shirt in case it needs some stretching. This way, it ensures a snugger grip around the neck. Lastly, it helps absorb sweat in case you're wearing the shirt while exercising. Now, it's not necessarily a custom anymore, but you may have stumbled upon a dinner jacket with an additional mysterious pocket on the right side. Turns out, this pocket was used by men to easily reach their train tickets, since most of them had to travel to work every day. It helped them keep their jacket buttoned up, but also benefited from the use of a pocket. Now it's only added as a decoration, and it doesn't serve an actual purpose anymore. Speaking of things we don't use these days, or at least for their initial purpose, did you know Play-Doh was originally a cleaning product? In the 1920s, the market was in need of a product that could help them wipe the wallpapered areas around coal-burning furnaces. The recipe for what we now know as Play-Doh was thus invented. It was manufactured in white only and was supposed to clean wallpaper by being rolled back and forth over the dirt. It was only later, in the 1940s, that new products for cleaning wallpaper were brought up, and Play-Doh was redirected toward another area of the market. Now, while I enjoy a nice piece of toast for breakfast, isn't it pesky to have to clean out the toaster? Well, not anymore, since I recently found out that toasters have a slide or a panel at the bottom that helps get rid of all those annoying breadcrumbs easily. Now, there used to be a time when you could only have access to video games by inserting cartridges in your console of choice. These tiny objects gave many doctors a lot of headaches. People soon started popping up in hospitals after swallowing small game cartridges, especially the younger generation. Nintendo, the company that manufactures the majority of these devices, had to come up with a creative solution to prevent these accidents. So these days, Nintendo Switch cartridges are purposely coated with specific chemicals that can leave a really bad bitter taste in the mouth. Not that I'd, recommend you ever try and taste for yourself. Fitness trackers and fancy smartwatches are fine for monitoring your heart rate and even the miles you cover on a run. They're not so good at measuring the number of calories you've burned, though. A 2017 study from the Stanford University School of Medicine showed that fitness trackers and smartwatches have error margins of less than 5% when it comes to measuring heart rates. That's pretty good, so you can be confident in whatever reading you're getting. The problem is with the devices measuring energy expenditure accurately or calendars burned. Even the best was off by an average of 27%. The worst was off by a crazy 93%. That means they're very unreliable and shouldn't be trusted. Fitness trackers don't work well for measuring calories because we all have different heights, weights, diets, and many other things. That means we all burn calories at completely different rates. The trackers are often programmed with a preset average height and weight. So, if you're going to use one, take it with a grain of salt, unless you're trying to reduce your sodium intake. Sunscreens have only one job to do, and that's protecting us from the harmful ultraviolet rays. In 2017, though, a study found that many popular brands failed to protect at all, with only 1 in 4 working. Most sunscreens didn't protect users from ultraviolet A and B rays at all. Some manufacturers also claim that these products had an SPF of over 50, which sounds very high quality, but the actual SPF was much lower than that. The misleading labeling means we aren't as protected as we think when we're at the beach. So when you're out shopping for sunscreen, make sure you look at the ingredients and apply more than you think you should. Ooh, sports drinks, an essential item for anyone working out. These bright-colored drinks are filled with electrolytes that will increase your performance and rehydrate you fast. The problem is, we're not all athletes, so most people would be better if they just drink water instead. Sports drinks are made up of water with some minerals and lots of sugar, coloring, and flavor. Those minerals are electrolytes, which can help our bodies go longer. Your exercise habits, the duration, and the intensity of your training all come into whether you really need that extra boost. While sports drinks can benefit athletes engaged in long or intense training, they're not really necessary for most gym goers. Sports drinks are probably pointless if you're only doing light to moderate exercise, like walking or jogging, over a short period of time. After using a toaster for most of your life, most people still haven't figured out how to get a perfect heat setting. It turns out that burnt toast is probably just down to a simple misconception. Those numbers on your toaster aren't heat levels at all. They're actually minutes. The dial is basically just a timer. That means all you need to do is look up how long it takes to toast certain things, and you'll never ruin your breakfast again. Hey, I like burnt toast. I'm used to it. Most of us rely on wireless technology to carry out normal everyday tasks. It can be very frustrating when technology stops working and interrupts your day. In fact, the only thing more frustrating might be not knowing why it isn't working. The worst culprit here is your cell phone. It'll often show really great reception, but somehow can't make a phone call. The bars on a cell phone actually don't mean anything. The way they receive the signal differs a lot between different makes and models of phone. There's even a big difference between what the bars mean from one phone to another. Meanwhile, watching a progress bar showing the percentage of time left to complete a download on our phones or PC can be tedious. Sometimes they just seem to be stuck doing nothing. Bad news, they don't really work. At least not in the way we think. The system updates the progress bar when certain milestones are reached. A progress bar at 50% doesn't mean half the file has been downloaded. Almost all the files could have been downloaded. The point of them is to give you something visual to look at. Progress bars aren't accurate because downloads and transfers have too many variables beyond the system's control. Internet speeds and network availability are the coordinators of how quickly a download will complete, while your computer's hard drive determines how fast things process and information gets put in the right files. It's probably best to make a coffee or set things up to download while you're in bed, instead of constantly checking up on an incorrect progress bar. Elsewhere, stopping at a crosswalk and pressing the button hoping the walk signal will come up might just be a waste of your time. It turns out that all that button pushing could be for nothing. Some crosswalk buttons need to be pressed, but others don't do anything at all. The crossing symbol will just light up whenever it wants to. Some crosswalks even switch between needing and not needing a button press, depending on the time of day. That said, it can be difficult for all of us pedestrians to determine whether a crosswalk button works or not. When in doubt, just push the button anyway. You don't want to stand around waiting for no reason. With more people going into the water and sharks, well, living in the water, the fear of bumping into a not-so-friendly shark is ever increasing. This shared water space has pushed many companies to try to create shark repellents. This sounds like a good idea that should help keep both people and sharks more safe. Companies have tried everything: sprays, wetsuits, magnets, wax, and even electronic devices to repel the scary fish. The bad news is none of these products are confirmed to actually work. One in particular makes the sound of an orca. Sharks aren't too fond of being in the same area as them, but does pretending you're an orca stop a shark from biting you? If you feel safer using them, then go right ahead. But if you're looking for a shark deterrent that's 100% effective, it's just not available. Psst, here's what actually works. Stay out of the water. Rushing into an elevator and repeatedly pushing the closed door button in the US is basically a huge waste of time unless you've got the special trick. In 1990, the US passed a Disabilities Act for elevators, which meant that elevators had to ensure that someone with a disability had time to get inside one. If you're on crutches, use a cane, or travel in a wheelchair, you don't have to worry about someone accidentally closing the elevator doors before you've had a chance to pass through them. There's one important loophole to this. If you're an emergency or maintenance worker, you'll have access to keys and codes that make that button operational. This is just another example of a placebo button you're invited to push, just to make you feel like you've done something. That impatient finger poking isn't doing anything. Getting a bit warm or cold in the office? Better adjust that thermostat. Unfortunately, in the vast majority of office buildings, the system controls are kept inside air ducts, not on the wall. Technicians install dummy thermostats to give workers the illusion that they're dramatically changing the air conditioning or heat. Some are set to change 1 or 2 degrees, but they're often not connected to anything at all. Dummy thermostats came about around the 1960s. As heating prices rose, building leases often required employers to stay within specific temperatures. Faced with this problem, fake thermostats became the new rage for businesses. They offer people some feeling of control while keeping the temperature in the right range. Now, ever come across some premium PC cleaning software that promises to clean your PC and make it go as fast as when you purchased it? Yeah! These third-party PC cleaners are often made to seem like they really work, but they usually don't do much of anything at all. They'll detect non-problems and list them as problems. The worst example of this is when they list browser cookies and temporary files as having an effect on the computer's speed, when they don't. It's better to stick to the operating system's built-in cleaner. It'll work fine if you ever need to clean your computer and save you having to splash out on one that does pretty much the same thing. Well, that's all I got. Time to burn some toast. You see these blades? They have notched corners to make your cutting experience smoother. Ooh! The front edge notch helps with separating blades during manufacturing, while the trailing edge notch helps the blade glide easily. And a fun fact, that notch on the front also helps you spot unused sections of the blade. Just a little visual indicator to make your life easier. When it comes to silver versus black blades, they're both made from the same stuff. But black blades are sharper and are better suited for cutting through tough materials, while silver blades strike a balance between cutting power and durability. If you want that extra cutting oomph, go for black. Oh, almost forgot. The only thing those blades aren't meant to cut is food. It has a rust-proofing oil coating, which is not safe for humans. Check this one out. It's totally giving me childhood vibes. Now, I remember my grandma having tomato-shaped pincushions just like this, and sometimes they would look more like a salad, with a little pepper thrown in there. Well, believe it or not, this salad actually has a purpose. The tomato keeps your pins in place, while the pepper keeps them sharp. Those peppers are filled with sand, which helps keep your pins nice and sharp. And it's not just sand. Crushed walnuts can also be used to keep your pins in tip-top shape. Now look at this multiple pocket tool and this little hook on it. It's a bit of a mystery, but it's actually pretty handy. I counted at least 4 different applications. 1. You can use it to carry all sorts of awkward stuff, like camping gear or heavy parcels. 2. Need to twist some wire or play around with knots? The parcel hook has got you covered. 3. This hook can save the day with those stubborn zippers like the ones on your luggage. 4. It's great for pretending to be a budget version of Captain Hook. If you know more applications, let me know in the comments. Apple users, with this feature, you'll never get laundry surprises again. Now, I bet you've had this situation at least once in your life. You wash your stuff, and when you take it out of the washing machine, the size seems to only fit your cat. Your iPhone camera can actually translate those funky laundry symbols for you. There are 2 requirements though. You must have iOS 17, and your phone must be in English. Take a photo of the care label, go to the Photos app, and see the details of the image. Everything will be automatically decoded and explained to you. Now, many toasters come with nifty removable crumb trays at the bottom. It's super important to give these trays a good clean every now and then to keep your toaster running smoothly and avoid any potential fire hazards. Just pop them out, shake out the crumbs, and you're good to go. Where you shake them out is up to you. Those little compartments on your gas pump aren't just for show. They're actually there to hold your cap while you're filling up. This nifty feature keeps things tidy and prevents any spills or drips on the handle. So, say goodbye to messy refueling experiences and hello to a cleaner pump. Plus, it makes the whole process way more convenient and efficient. Now, I'll bet your oven gets so greasy and dirty sometimes that you can even hear it oink. Just kidding. I know you're a tidy person. Anyway, if you're looking for a way to bring your kitchen cleaning to a whole new level, here's a tip for you. Most oven doors have handy latches that let you pop the door off for easy cleaning, saving your poor back from the strain. When you're draining noodles or potatoes, there's no need to bother transferring everything to a colander in the sink. Just throw the colander right into the pot, hold it down, and pour the liquid out. It makes life so much easier, especially when you want to save that starchy water for recipes. It's a must for authentic pasta, by the way. So let's say you've snagged this gem at a thrift store a while back for just under $1. It's seen better days, serving as an ashtray, but you decide it's time to give it a new lease on life. Here's the lowdown on how to make it shine again. Mix up a solution of boiling water, baking soda, and table salt in a bowl lined with aluminum foil. Let the piece soak for about 15 minutes and repeat this process 3 times. In between soaks, gently scrub any rough spots with a microfiber cloth. After the final soak, dry the piece off and rub on some toothpaste, baking soda, and peroxide. Buff out any remaining tarnish with a clean, dry microfiber cloth. Rinse it off, and now your piece is practically gleaming like a mirror. These aluminum foil boxes have nifty little tabs on the sides that make it super easy to grab a sheet without any hassle. It's like a fancy little bonus that makes the product a breeze and ensures you'll have a smooth sailing experience every time. Manual can openers often come with a handy built-in feature, also known as a bottle opener. It's like getting two tools in one. But did you know that this bottle opener actually has another useful function? It can help you loosen those stubborn, hard-to-open jars. Simply lift the lid slightly at a couple of points with the bottle opener, and then watch it as it effortlessly twists right off. Yeah! Okay, I just found that, apparently, you're supposed to save the first and last slices of a loaf of sliced bread for last. It's like a bread hack or something. Apparently, those end pieces help keep the rest of the bread fresher for longer, and you shouldn't eat them until you've devoured the rest of the loaf. So, next time you're making a sandwich, save those heel slices for the very end. Even bread eating needs a good strategy. Now look at those blue levers on the top rack of your dishwasher. I was curious about them too, and it turns out they're actually water bottle sprayers. They help to ensure that your bottles get a thorough cleaning and rinse during the wash cycle. Many vegetable peelers have those little scoops on top for taking out the eyes from potatoes. And here's a cool tip. You can actually use vegetable peelers in both directions to peel faster, but most people just stick to one direction. When using yellow mustard, make sure to push the lid of the bottle all the way open until you hear a satisfying click. This way the lid will stay securely in place and won't get in the way when you're dispensing the mustard onto your food. It's a simple step that can make your condiment experience hassle-free and enjoyable. So there. You know that little hole at the end of your pot or pan? Well, it's not just for show. You can actually use it as a handy holder for your forks and spoons. Next time you're cooking up a storm in the kitchen, just pop your utensils in that convenient little hole and keep them close at hand. Okay, just a heads up to remember to switch the direction of your ceiling fan for the changing weather, and to give it a good clean too. I've seen that a lot of folks found it helpful before to reverse the fan's direction by flipping a switch for different seasons. So this is just a friendly reminder to go ahead and do it again, pushing hot air down and pulling cold air up. When you're chowing down for some pizza, just tear off the top of the box and use it as a big old plate. You can even rip the box in half and fold it to save some leftovers for later. Well, that's it for today. What, you want to know more cool facts? Sure, but you'll have to subscribe and hit the bell to get more videos. I'm waiting. Go ahead. Hey, don't look now, but when you make your bed, you also make a cozy home for tiny dust mites. Really? Your pillow, blanket, and sheets seem clean enough, but these little guys thrive inside your bed. They love dark spaces, just like your mattress. Bad news? You can't see them without a microscope, but that doesn't mean they're not hanging out in your bed. So, if you cover them up while making the bed in the morning, they're going to be pretty grateful. Now they have the perfect environment to thrive. One thing these tiny bugs are afraid of is sunlight. So, it's not hard to understand that covering them up is the same as protecting them. If there's sunlight and fresh air, they change location. So, if you never make your bed, you aren't messy, you're just health conscious. Most people feel tired twice a day, at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. But since humans are the only mammals that can delay their sleep willingly, most of us never have an afternoon nap at 2 p.m. If you really want to doze off for a while, be careful. Make sure you do it no later than 5. Otherwise, you'll find it really difficult to fall asleep later, and you'll probably stay up all night. The best sleep you can get is at night, but if you can't help falling asleep during the day, make sure to set an alarm clock for not more than 20 minutes. Another way to overcome that sleepiness is to take a short walk. A glass of icy water can wake you up fast too. Drink it or splash it in your face. Works either way. Some people have tried to conquer sleep, to be productive and not miss out on anything. Leonardo da Vinci used the Uberman sleep cycle schedule. He would only sleep for 20 minutes at a time, but do it every 4 hours. He invented so many things and painted so much. It's like he had way more time than 24 hours a day. One of the drawbacks of this scheme is that it's pretty hard to concentrate on long-term projects. Another great mind, Nikola Tesla, wasn't really into sleeping, just like Da Vinci. He used the same Uberman sleep cycle and never slept more than a couple of hours a day. He claimed he once worked for 84 hours in a row. So, when you don't sleep the whole night, you're about to invent something amazing. Or not. It's true that you should definitely avoid blue light for at least 2 hours before you go to sleep. That means most electronic devices, like TVs, laptops, and smartphones. Blue light tricks your brain into thinking it's still day. That's why it doesn't let you sleep well. If you can't fall asleep without scrolling your feed, you might want to download an app that blocks blue light or check your settings. Most laptops let you do something similar. You can even keep this mode on all day. Your eyes will be so grateful. If you crave sweets before you go to bed, you're not alone. It might feel like chocolate soothes you and calms you down, so it's easier to fall asleep. But watch out for caffeine. It's not just in your coffee. Even chocolate has a small amount of caffeine in it, just enough to disturb your sleep. By the way, there are lots of superfoods besides chocolate that can either boost your productivity or help you sleep. For example, most berries contain antioxidants that help increase motor skills and work wonders for your memory. The darker the berries are, the more antioxidants they contain. Blueberries are a great choice. The time when you eat matters a lot. It's better to avoid food for at least 1 hour before you go to sleep. Monster meals can be too heavy for your digestive system, especially if you're about to lie down for 8 hours straight. If you want to grab some food in the evening, make it light, like a healthy snack, milk, or cheese. By the way, eating breakfast for dinner is really helpful for those who want to fall asleep faster. Bananas, eggs, toast, it's all packed with proteins and carbs. All these things can help you relax and fall asleep. So, Brenner, that's a thing now, I guess. Whenever you have a hard time falling asleep, aromatherapy is here to help. Some essential oils are especially good for sleep, like lavender, peppermint, and rose petal. If you're into citrus, try mixing lemon and orange. You can add just a few drops onto a piece of paper or add them to your aroma lamp. Just remember, those oils are strong. If you tend to get negative thoughts at night and you just can't fall asleep, try practicing some creative writing before going to bed, or start a daily diary. It might help you get rid of some of those downer vibes. When you're calm, you get better sleep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, this trick really works. If you focus on falling asleep, you're going to fail. If you focus on not falling asleep, like counting sheep or something equally ridiculous, chances are you'll doze off after a couple of minutes. You can also count to 4, 7, 8. This technique helps you relax your body by regulating your breathing. First you inhale and exhale fully. Hold it while you count to 4, then inhale. Keep the air in your lungs and count to 7. While you're exhaling, count to 8. Repeat that a few times. Your body will regulate oxygen and carbon dioxide, trigger the relaxation response, and you'll fall asleep really fast and stay that way all night. Body tension can stem from tense and stressful thoughts, and that can make it really hard to fall asleep. To relax, think about something that makes you happy or something you're grateful for before you go to sleep. When you're relaxed, you fall asleep way faster. When it's too hot, it can be really hard to get to sleep. Stick 1 foot out from under the covers and let it cool off. Once your body feels that cool relief, you'll fall asleep in no time. Another trick you can try is to cover yourself with a slightly wet sheet, but this one's only for serious heat, like you're on vacation at the beach and your AC bugs out. If you feel too cold whenever you sleep, try layering with 2 thin comforters. Air gets trapped in between the layers, keeping you warmer than if you had 1 huge comforter. The opposite works too. Even a really lightweight sheet can add a lot of heat. Bedroom temperature is really important. Yeah, no one wants to get a chill while they're sleeping. 70 degrees is comfortable for most people. If it's too hot, you might end up tossing and turning too much and not get into those deep stages of rest. If you don't want to crank the AC to full blast, try taking a hot shower right before bed. It'll make your bedroom seem much cooler than it really is, and your body temperature will drop just enough. You'll fall asleep as soon as your head touches the pillow. One famous athlete went even further. He created the perfect sleep training bedroom. He recreated a mountainous environment by decreasing the amount of oxygen in the air. That way, his body was forced to work harder and produce more red blood cells. He claims that it helped him increase his endurance and perform better. Now, if sleep is just not happening, try massaging your toes and the arch of your foot for a couple of minutes. It's another great way to relax. In case you can't bend down that far, rub your ears. Surprisingly, the effect is pretty much the same. Gently massage the earlobe, then all other parts of the ear. It has a lot of nerve endings, so if you massage it, it can help relax your head and neck muscles. Time for some pillow talk. Sometimes it's even nice to sleep without one. Make sure your pillow is neither too thick nor too thin. If you like sleeping on your front, you may want to put your pillow right under your stomach. Try it, see if it makes you feel more comfortable. The best pillowcases are made of silk. Your face literally glides on silk, so it won't be all wrinkled when you wake up. Hair doesn't rub against silk either, so you won't have to spend hours pulling all those knots out in the morning. Nighty-night.
If you're looking to remodel your kitchen but don't have the budget to replace the refrigerator, there might be a way you can still use your fridge, even if you have to move it to another location. Did you know that for most refrigerators, you can change the way you open their doors? These handles can be reversed on almost any refrigerator model. You just need to remove a few screws and bolts. It's best though if you keep track of the assembly order and the parts you've removed. As for the necessary tools, you only need a screwdriver, an adjustable wrench, pliers, and a ratchet set. There's an easy way to get the most out of your citrus fruit. And the tool you'll need for that is probably somewhere in your kitchen. Forget about expensive fruit juicers. No need to revert to the standard elbow grease. Next time you want to have some fresh lemon juice, just use a pair of kitchen tongs. Place the lemon, or any other citrus fruit, between the tongs and use the force of the tool to squeeze out all the juice in no time. Speaking of fruit, there's a great way to keep them fresh for longer, and it doesn't necessarily involve buying unripe bananas. Place them into an airtight container and put it in the fridge. The less air reaches the fruit, the longer they'll last. Then, how about delicate things, such as strawberries? They're a bit more difficult to clean due to their texture. Here's a neat way to make sure they're safe to eat. Take 3 cups of cold water and add a cup of vinegar. Put your strawberries in the mixture and gently move them around. After you drain and rinse the berries with cold tap water to remove the vinegar, pat them dry with a clean towel. Lastly, put them in a sealed container and store them in the fridge until you're ready to munch on them. I'm almost certain you've been using this one wrong your whole life, but I'm just as guilty as you are. Remember those neck pillows we often use when traveling? Turns out most of us tend to wear a pillow around the back of our neck and secure it at the front with a button. Well, some people say it feels a whole lot better if you flip your pillow. Why? Because with the gap located at the back of the neck, your head is still supported. But you'll relieve the pressure on your neck if your head starts falling from side to side as you fall asleep. Not to mention that your chin stays securely in place. You may have noticed some weird bumps on the concrete sidewalk, especially in crowded or high-traffic areas. This is called tactile paving. It was first used in Japan in the 1960s. Because of its efficiency, people started using it all over the world. These days, the system has developed into several types of paving for different kinds of situations. Blister paving, for example, is used at crosswalks. It's vital for people with visual impairment, warning them there's a road crossing ahead. In most cases, this paving consists of several rows of flat-topped blisters arranged in a square pattern. Then there's corduroy tactile paving, rounded bars running across the direction of pedestrian travel. It informs visually impaired people about some danger, like a set of stairs or a ramp. Sometimes after a long day, there's nothing more comforting than leftovers for dinner. Unfortunately, being as tired as you are, you might forget to cover your plate of food with a paper towel. And then, your microwave is likely to become a total mess. Luckily, there's an easy way to clean it, and it doesn't involve special products. Prepare a mixture of half water, half lemon juice. Pour the liquid into a bowl and microwave it for about a minute. The acidity of the mixture should help with decreasing the walls of the microwave, and you'll be able to simply wipe off all the residues. Are you one of those people that like to experiment when baking and aren't a fan of measuring tools? You can just use a whisk next time you need to add some flour. Stick the whisk in the flour bag and it should pick up a considerable amount of the product between its metal bars. I don't think there's anything I love more than simple and fast tricks to make everyday chores easier. Like this one, about trash bags. I bet that just like me, you've been doing this one wrong all this time. Open a trash bag. You don't need to ruffle it open completely. Just the top of the bag will do. Place the edge of the trash bag over the edge of the trash can and secure it in place. Then, simply push the rest of the bag into the can. And it should flip over perfectly. I love a nice snack as much as the next guy. But pistachios can sometimes be a real pain to open. They can hurt your fingers or even break your nails. But did you know that you can literally use another pistachio to open a stubborn one? Layer the openings of the two pistachio pods so that they interlace. Then, just pull them apart and they should both pop open. Deodorants tend to make a mess, especially on black clothes. But you don't need a fancy cleaning product to get rid of the stains. You won't even need to change your shirt if this happens. Just rub the stained area with another piece of fabric once the deodorant has had some time to dry. It should flake off pretty easily. Surely there's a pumice stone somewhere in your bathroom. You know that weird-looking piece of rock that you use to exfoliate your heels? There's a lot more you can do with it if you're creative enough. Turns out it's pretty great for removing pet hair off textile furniture. You can also use it for removing pills off fabric. You can always unclog your kitchen pipes with a homemade solution. It's just as effective as the store-bought and involves way fewer damaging chemicals. Pour some white vinegar into your kettle. Make sure you heat it up, but remember to open your kitchen window as the smell might get a bit overwhelming. Meanwhile, place some baking soda in the pipes you want to clean. Let it sit for a couple of minutes. Then, add the heated vinegar. The mixture should pop and fizzle quite spectacularly. But don't worry, that's exactly what's supposed to be happening. After the process has calmed down, open the taps and let some lukewarm water run for a minute or so. It should wash off all the residues that were clogging your pipes. Nice added bonus, take a look at the insides of your kettle. As clean as new. I'll admit, patience is not one of my best features, and I'm not very talented at opening jars either. But getting a rubber band and putting it around the edge of the lid works every time. It gives me a solid, non-slip grip and something to hold on to whenever I stumble upon one of those stubborn jars. But if that doesn't work, I place the jar in hot water. The heat causes the metal to expand, making it easy to break the seal. You know how hard it is to hang things on your walls, especially when it comes to items that require multiple holes. But here's a neat trick. Take a piece of tape and spread it over the object you want to put on the wall. It can be a painting or maybe even an extension cord. Mark the spots where the holes are supposed to be on the tape. Then take the tape and place it on the wall. Now you'll know exactly how far apart the nails need to go.
You turn on the faucet in the kitchen sink when suddenly you hear a loud creak from below. Alarmed, you quickly turn off the water, but the creak repeats, this time from somewhere to your left. You tiptoe to the door, careful not to make a sound, when the entire house starts shaking and groaning. Terrified, you run outside, and just as you turn around in your front yard, you see your lovely home fall apart. You walk to the pile of debris that used to be your house and inspect it to find out what could have happened. And then you see it, a giant swarm of insects flying over the crumbling remains. And you remember, you've seen them in and out of your home for years, but didn't pay attention. If you had, you would have known that they were flying carpenter ants, and your house had been in danger for a long time. Carpenter ants only fly for a short period of time in late spring or early summer, when the weather conditions are good enough. It's their mating season. At this time, they fly in swarms around the house and are most visible. During the rest of the year, they behave almost like normal ants, hiding inside the holes and nooks of the house. And I say almost because they do one thing that's harmful to you. They basically eat your home from the inside. Carpenter ants, as the name implies, like wood a lot. Moist or rotting wood is their first choice. It's easier to chew through to make their tunnels. But if they encounter a good and sturdy piece of wood, they won't stop either. It'll just hold them for a bit longer. As the tunnel system grows, more ants appear from the eggs their queen lays her entire life. And after a few years, the colony consists of thousands, if not millions, of ants, while your house looks like a piece of cheese, with you none the wiser. When the flying ants appear, it's a sign that the colony has already grown to an enormous size, and your home is in grave danger. Most likely, there's a whole ant palace underneath your house, and within all its wooden parts, from walls to the roof. Just a few years more, and the structural damage will become too much, leading to disaster. So if you see swarms of flying insects inside your home, call pest control immediately. The bullet ant is the largest of all the ant species. Still, despite being the biggest, they grow to no larger than the size of a penny. The bullet ant is most likely to be found in countries such as Nicaragua and Paraguay, deep within the rainforests. It might be small, but it has a big bite. The bite of a bullet ant is up to 30 times more painful than the sting of a wasp or a bee. Locals sometimes refer to the small insect as the 24-hour ant because you'll experience an entire day of discomfort after their bite. Despite the unpleasant feeling, the bite of a bullet ant isn't too dangerous and should heal within a week. These ants have a peculiar habit that might make it easy to avoid their powerful bite. Bullet ants release a strong and disgusting stench to drive away predators. So, if you ever find yourself trekking through the rainforest and smell an intensely unpleasant odor, run. There are just shy of 300 different species of fire ants all across the world. All the species have the same powerful bite. They're tiny insects who travel in large colonies and have a distinct light brown color, almost red. Fire ants are most commonly found in the United States and are attracted to food. They tend to crash a lot of picnics that they're not invited to. Fire ant bites are incredibly itchy, but not very dangerous. Running the bites under some cold water should help to soothe the itchiness, and the bite should go away in a week or so. If you have a more severe reaction than itchiness, make sure to seek urgent advice from your doctor. Now, velvet ants aren't ants at all. They're a kind of wingless wasp that just looks a lot like ants. These bugs don't form large colonies and usually live alone, hiding in tall grass. This behavior has given them another nickname, cow ants, because when a cow is grazing nearby, it might step on a velvet ant and get a painful bite in return. Humans also get bitten sometimes, especially if they walk barefoot. Velvet ants are venomous, but their venom is less potent than that of bees, so it's not really dangerous. Still, the pain from such a bite is serious, and if you want to squash this bug, good luck. They have an unusually tough carapace that protects them from other stinging insects and even birds. Termites are the scare of all things wooden, and of ants too. When ants encroach on their territory, termites go out of their notorious mounds and give back more than they receive. The insects are basically blind, but their heads are equipped with natural spitfire. They spit acid at their foes, driving them away quicker than they got there. Don't even think of getting your fingers in the way of that acidic stream. It's a really unpleasant feeling. Speaking of spitting, bombardier beetles are the best at that. The look of this bug is menacing enough itself, but when it feels threatened, it will give out a loud pop and spray the enemy with boiling hot liquid. There's a chamber inside the bug's belly that keeps two substances for that. When they mix before spraying, they react with each other and quickly get really hot. Even birds are in big trouble if they get into the beetle's way, and other insects simply have no chance against it. Tarantula hawks are long, thin insects with beautiful rust-colored wings and yellow antennae. They tend to be found in rainforests across Asia, America, and Africa. They like to live alone and make their homes by burrowing into the ground. If you ever come across a tarantula hawk, be sure to move away very slowly. These insects only attack if they sense a threat. Tarantula hawks are thought to have one of the most painful stings in the world. The pain of the tarantula hawk sting is incredibly intense and lasts for 3 to 4 minutes. After these minutes have passed, the sting won't require any urgent care and should heal on its own. The yellow jacket is a dangerous species of wasp that can be found all over the world. They're named for their distinctive yellow and black patterns. The yellow is a striking neon color, much brighter than a normal wasp. Yellow jackets live in large colonies and build their nests in trees, bushes, and even underground. If you come across a yellow jacket nest, move away slowly and be careful not to threaten or irritate the wasps. The sting of a yellow jacket definitely isn't a pleasant feeling. The Japanese hornet is the largest species of hornet in the world. The Japanese hornets have a yellow and black striped pattern, just like the yellow jacket. What makes them distinguishable from bees and wasps is their size and shape. The Japanese hornet is much larger and thinner than a bumblebee, and much longer than a wasp. These hornets, of course, live in Japan, where they travel in colonies of up to 700 members. People who have previously been stung by the Japanese hornet often say it's like being struck by a red-hot poker. If you're ever unfortunate enough to be stung by one of these insects, immediately call for help. And while you wait for the doctors, wash the sting with cold water. Asian giant hornets live mostly in Asian countries, but they were reported in North America in 2019. These beasts are big, yellow, and vicious. It's impossible to confuse a giant hornet with any other bee or wasp. They are much larger and a lot more aggressive. But the worst thing about them is their stinger, which is more than 3 times longer than that of a honeybee. The stinger contains a really potent venom, and several stings from an Asian giant hornet can bring down even a large animal, and human too. And if that wasn't enough, these creatures can even spray their venom, aiming at the eyes. Needless to say, that's an unforgettable experience. Okay, let's admit it, all centipedes are terrifying, and perhaps one of the most horrible species is a Texas red-headed centipede. First of all, it looks like it's ascended from your deepest, darkest nightmares. A black-sectioned body, dozens of yellowish legs that look more like claws, and a red head with 2 long prongs. That's a picture enough to make me run for it in a split second. Being pretty large, these crawlers have a voracious appetite, munching on toads, lizards, and an occasional rat. Sometimes, when desperate, they can even catch a bat right in the middle of a flight. And of course, red-headed centipedes are venomous, fitting for such an appearance. Luckily, they're not interested in humans, and that's mutual.
Now, before you leave your bedroom in the morning, make sure you close all the windows and shades to keep the room as dark as possible. It prevents any sun or hot air getting in and increasing the temperature of the room. Once the sun is set, try opening 2 windows that are on opposite sides of the room. This will create cross-ventilation. Air will come in through one window and exit out the other to create a nice cooling breeze. If there's only one window in your room, you can mimic this system by placing a fan opposite the open window. The fan will blow back out the air that enters through the window. This might sound strange, but it'll help to get rid of the warm indoor air while allowing the new cooler air inside. Try to avoid any heat-generating appliances throughout the day. The heat that these devices give off will only make the air in your room even warmer. If you use a hairdryer, try it on a cooler setting. Instead of using a warm oven to roast your dinner, have a no-cook summer salad instead. This even applies to your electronics. Running computers, TVs, and your charging phone all generate heat. Turning off these appliances before bed will keep your air temperature cooler for longer. Of course, You'll know to swap out your heavier winter comforter for a lighter summer one. But choosing your bedding based on fabric can make all the difference. Sheets and blankets made from synthetic materials like polyester manage to trap heat. This can make your bed feel even warmer than it actually is. Heavier natural fibers such as flannel or wool won't keep you cool either. Seek out bedding made from breathable materials like cotton or linen. These lighter natural fibers feel much cooler on your skin. As it gets closer to bedtime, your body's core temperature naturally starts to dip to help you get to sleep. You can aid this natural cooling process by taking a lukewarm shower before you go to bed. Your body temperature will initially rise in the shower, but once you exit, your body will start to cool down fast. However, make sure the shower isn't too hot, or the steam it'll give off will increase the temperature in your room. If you head to sleep with damp hair, the extra moisture on your scalp will help you feel even cooler. But don't use this trick too often, as sleeping with a wet scalp on a regular basis may cause hair damage and extra tangling. Tell me about it. While a cool fan will initially help to drop the temperature in your room, they recycle the same air over and over again, so it soon loses its cooling effect. If you place a bowl of ice water in front of the fan, it will instantly cool down the air the fan blows, giving you cool air far into the night. The most common place that humans release sweat is their forehead and face. So, to stay cool, it's important to keep these areas cool. Try freezing a small washcloth for an hour before bed. Place it on your forehead to use as a cold compress before you go to sleep. If you don't want to go to extremes, you may skip the freezing step and just place a cool, soaking wet compress. Lower quality mattresses can be heat traps. They tend to use a poorer quality of foam that restricts airflow, meaning that your body heat gets trapped at the surface of the mattress where you sleep. Higher quality mattresses use innovative tools like gel-infused mattresses or plant-based foams to help absorb your body heat and help you stay cool while you sleep. Even if your blankets are really thin, but you keep layering them, the air will get trapped in between the layers, keeping you warmer. So, for summer nights, opt for only one comforter. Hot air rises, so to avoid the heat, try and set your bed up as close to the ground as possible. If you live in a multi-floor house, instead of sleeping in an upper story, try to sleep on the ground floor or even a cool basement. If your home is only one floor, try hauling your mattress off the bed frame and place it on the floor. In order to fall asleep in the sweltering heat of the Egyptian sun, the native folk devised a peculiar method. Wet a blanket or sheet that is large enough to cover your body with some cold water. Wring it out or leave it to dry until it isn't dripping wet but still damp. Place a dry towel on top of your mattress to save it from getting wet, and then use the damp sheet as your blanket. The damp blanket will keep you cool throughout the night. Regular exercising helps to improve the overall quality of your sleep. But if you exercise too late in the evening, your core temperature will be at a higher level, making it more difficult to cool down before bedtime. If you sleep alone, you have plenty of space to spread out. Stretch out your arms and legs and head to sleep in a spread eagle position. This will allow the air to circulate around your body, reducing your body temperature. Heavy meals full of fats and carbs take a lot of energy for your body to break down. They can cause what people call meat sweats. Spicy meals also tend to make people sweat. Swap big meals for smaller, lighter portions, like fish, salads, and fruits. Certain foods, like popcorn and dark chocolate, contain nutrients that help you sleep. Try to avoid eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed for optimal cool potential. Dehydration causes your body temperature to rise. Your body doesn't have enough fluid to sweat and regulate your core temperature. Make sure to drink a glass of water before bed and keep one handy on your bedside table to stay hydrated throughout the night. Stick your sheets into a plastic bag and then place them in the freezer for 2 to 3 minutes before bed. This won't keep you cool all night, but will give you some instant relief from the heat and humidity when you settle into bed. If freezing your full sheet sounds a bit too intense, Why not try and do it with your socks? Wearing cold socks to bed increases the blood flow around the body, which helps lower your core temperature. Hot water bottles aren't just handy for winter. Stick them in the freezer, and then you can have an ice pack that won't leak all over your bed. While a big fluffy pillow is great to lay your head on after a long, hard day, they don't do much for keeping you cool. The head is one of the warmest parts of your body, and surrounding it in pillow fluff can stop the heat from escaping. Swap out your fluffy pillows for a lighter version in order to keep a cool head. If you need to cool down quickly, applying ice or cold compresses to pulse points, where our blood vessels are closer to the skin than other points, will lower your body temperature fast. These pulse points are at your wrists, neck, elbows, ankles, and behind your ears. Just like your bed sheets, it's important to make sure that your PJs are made from a lightweight material. If you're trying to stay cool, wearing less is better. Loose cotton shorts or underwear should do the trick. Some people argue that PJs actually keep you cooler than sleeping en natural, as the fabric soaks sweat off the body. Now, if you're brave enough, why not try and fashion a DIY hammock in your bedroom? Because hammocks are suspended on all sides, they have increased airflow. It'll feel like sleeping in a cool breeze. By hanging a wet sheet up in front of an open window, you can cool down an entire room. The air blowing in will be cooled by the wet sheet and quickly lower the room's temperature. Drinking coffee dehydrates you and elevates cortisol levels, making it difficult to get comfortable enough to fall asleep no matter what the weather is like. Instead of a large macchiato before bed, try a warm cup of herbal tea or glass of milk, which both help with falling asleep.
Oops, another burglary in the US has just occurred. Wait another 22.6 seconds and there will be another one. Hey, no need to worry about your property. Forewarned, forearmed. Let's explore a few tips on how to protect your house. A mere sticker can contribute a lot to your house's safety. For instance, you can use a sticker that says you have a home security system, even if in reality you don't. It may not sound convincing enough, but still, burglars prefer not to mess with such houses. Just one more tip here. Make sure the sticker looks true to life, so a makeshift sign won't do. It's better to fork out some money and grab a real-looking sticker. Another smart trick is to leave a pair of really large shoes on the porch so that the burglars could clearly see them. It will make them think someone big and dangerous lives there, and they won't fancy meeting them. Right, now let's inspect your door. I hope you don't leave the keys under the doormat. The only things you can leave under the mat are the cookies or chips. This is a fun way to see if someone was visiting you while you were away. However, the trick doesn't give you a 100% guarantee. It might be a mailman, a delivery guy who got the wrong door, or even a random dog hanging around your porch. Yeah, cookies feel better in your stomach, not under the doormat. Okay, you're back home from work. It was a tough day and you're tired. You leave the keys in the keyhole and completely forget about it. Right, the main thing is that you've locked the door and the keys are inside. But who said there is no burglar in the bushes targeting your house? Technically, it might be impossible to insert a dupe and get in if there's a key in the keyhole. But these guys are well equipped and have a whole assortment of hooks to lure the key out. You know what happens next? They can seep into your house as silently as ninjas and grab all your valuables while you're peacefully sleeping. A lock that can only be closed from the inside and can't be opened from the outside seems like a good solution. When moving to a new place, even if you didn't buy it but rent it, make sure to change the locks. Who knows how many copies of those keys there are? As for renting, you never know who lived there before you moved in. Also, if for some reason you accidentally left your keys in the front door for some time, the best thing to do is to change the lock. Yeah, probably nothing bad will happen, but still, it's better to play it safe. Plus, not only should you stop leaving the keys in the door, but you also shouldn't leave them on display. Maybe it's better to bring the keys to the living room instead of keeping them near the front door. Sometimes burglars can use not only your door, but your window too. Mind your trash, especially if you throw away some pricey stuff packaging. Don't let the thieves know what you purchased and how much you paid for it. Also, your trash may contain some essential information about your personal data, credit card details, and so much more. Keep an eye on your mailbox. Make sure you have a lock on it. Thing is, burglars may be quite interested in your mail contents, so the secret is simple. Keep the mailbox locked and make sure you shred any personal data-related papers. Now let's inspect your front lawn. Hey, I can see something compromising. I'm talking about these large bushes. Yeah, I know you don't have time to trim them. The larger they get, the more space there is for the burglars to hide. Plus, if someone sees untrimmed shrubs and trees in the front yard, they might think nobody's home. You see the point, right? Okay, let's say you ignored all the previous tips and burglars broke into your house. The most interesting thing for them is surely cash. If you don't have any cash at home, you can skip this tip. But if you have valuables, get creative. Cash can be stuffed into a plastic bag and hidden in a large container with some leftovers. Also, you can place that plastic bag into an old detergent bottle you keep in the storeroom or the kitchen. Burglars aren't likely to look for your stash there. A couple of don'ts here. Hiding cash or jewels in a prescription pills container isn't that smart. And yeah, a freezer isn't the best option either. Many burglars like to check it in the first place. Time to see if you keep your keys right. If you keep your car and house keys together, you might want to reconsider it. First off, imagine you lose them and burglars somehow know where you live. Not only will they grab what they want, but they'll also have a vehicle to transport all your hard-earned belongings. Keep an eye on your garage keys, especially if it's possible to sneak into your house through your garage. Even if it isn't, who said there are no valuables in the garage? However, there are no limits whatsoever for burglars. They can sneak into houses even through small windows. The reason why they prefer doors is that it's the safest way, while squeezing through the window can get scratches, and it's not that they don't want to spoil their looks. The thing is, if they leave their DNA, they can be traced. However, crooks are careful about not leaving their traces. For instance, a report from England claims only about 3% of burglars leave forensic evidence. To protect yourself at night, there are several options. Number 1, insert a large paperclip or a bobby pin inside the keyhole. You can use a spare pair of keys if you have them. This way, you'll make it extremely hard, if not impossible, for the burglars to use the key dupes. Number 2, barricading is an option. It can be a heavy chair, a bookshelf, you name it. I mean, why not if it makes you feel safe? If your door opens outwardly, a jammer could do a great job for you. A chair can be super handy. Secure it under the doorknob. It's not the most powerful security system, but at least it does its job. Binding the doorknobs or handles together can be an option too. A dummy security camera can protect you during the day and night. Again, burglars are not as fearless as they may seem. If you have a real CCTV, make sure the crooks don't deactivate it, so place it in some hard-to-get place. If you're ready to fork out some money for protection, then the motion sensor light is exactly what you need. Crooks like dim spots, and once they approach your place, they'll be frightened off by the bright light. This solution works as long as the burglars know you're home. In case they're sure you're away, it's way less efficient. TV and radio timers are another trick. With their help, you can imitate your home even if you're not. A perfect match for the motion sensor light. This trick can help outsmart some burglars, but again, it doesn't give a 100% guarantee. Some of them aren't afraid to break in, even if the TV's on. What about live alarm systems? This can be real or fake too. I'm talking about dogs. Remember the trick with the boots? You can do the same with a dog if you don't have one. Leave a large bowl on the porch, but make sure it all looks real. I mean, the bowl should not look untouched and brand new. Hey, do you know all your neighbors? If not, it's high time you baked some cookies and visited them to know them better. First, the crooks don't really like to operate in areas where few people know each other and care for each other. This way, their chances of being spotted and reported are extremely high. So, a sort of neighborhood watch is a perfect way to protect your house. And who knows, find new friends.
228,000 hours, 9,940 days, 26 years of your life. That's enough to watch around 150,000 movies or sail around the world 7 times. And it's a healthy average amount of sleep you should get in your lifetime. It sounds like a lot, but in fact, the world population is now generally getting less sleep than ever before. Sleeping less has to do with how when we go to bed aligns with our circadian rhythms. It affects how long you can sleep, no matter how tired you are. How easily you fall asleep is partially genetic, but then again, our genes haven't changed a lot over the past century. It also has to do with your melatonin levels. When your system doesn't produce enough of it, your brain has trouble sending you to sleep. The main reason we're getting less sleep now is our sleep hygiene. It's all about the good old healthy habits. When you eat healthy regular meals, work out, and set the right sleep patterns, you can even beat some bad genetics in that way. When you do the opposite, even the best of genetics won't help you sleep-wise. One thing that now affects our sleep hygiene and has gotten way more pervasive during the 21st century is light. Humans have evolved to be super sensitive to the smallest changes in light around them. You have special receptors in your eyes that respond to those changes and regulate your circadian rhythms. They send data to the brain and regulate your internal clock. This internal clock is set to help your body get ready for the coming hours and days by analyzing the amount of light. Now, the artificial light all around you and shortwave light from your gadgets confuse your natural prediction system a lot. Scientists have found it can shift your internal clock by 5 or 6 time zones. As a result, your brain gets the signal to stay alert instead of falling asleep. Running low on sleep makes most of us pretty cranky the next day. But that would be the least of all evils. Next thing you know, you have trouble focusing on things and recalling details. Your brain just doesn't get enough time to properly process and store your memories for later. It also needs the right amount of time to process your emotions, recognize them, and react the proper way. When you deprive it of that time, negative emotions take over positive ones. Giving yourself enough time to rest is a contribution to your heart health and overall balance. It's also an investment in your athletic success. Not all sports are about quick bursts of energy, but you do need energy and motivation and enough time for muscle repair, even for endurance sports like running, swimming, or biking. And if that's still not enough to convince you that sleep is all you need, doing it for 8 hours helps you get rid of around 300 calories on its own. The number differs from person to person, and the more you weigh, the larger it is. All that energy goes on fueling your essential functions, such as breathing, circulation, temperature regulation, and cellular growth and repair. When you don't get enough sleep, your body needs more energy. Since it can't get it from snoozing, it'll make you get it from food. Your hormonal levels get messed up, and your body starts producing more hunger hormone and less fullness hormone. Scientists asked healthy adults to sleep for just 6 hours a day for 5 weeks, and their resting metabolism slowed down by 8%. No fun, right? Let's see what you can do about it. It takes your body around 90 to 110 minutes to pass through all stages of sleep and restore itself completely. That's one sleep cycle. It starts with stage 1 of non-REM sleep. REM here stands for Rapid Eye Movement. Everything slows down, including your eye and muscle movement. If someone wakes you up at this stage, you won't feel like you've had any sleep at all. It's normal to feel like you're falling and then have a sudden muscle contraction at this stage. Then, at stage 2 of non-REM sleep, your eye movement stops and your heart rate and temperature go down. Your muscles partially contract and then relax, again and again. Stage 3 of non-REM sleep is deep sleep. Your brain produces slow waves. Your eyes and muscles aren't moving. It's not easy to wake you up. Then, about an hour after falling asleep, you pass through the REM sleep stage when you normally see vivid dreams. So, your brain activity increases and your sleep isn't that deep. Your major muscles, like the ones in your arms and legs, can't move. REM periods start out lasting 10 minutes and then get longer and longer. Then, the cycle starts over at stage 1 of non-REM sleep. When you plan your bedtime, it's important that you don't break those sleep cycles and let yourself have at least 5 of them per night. That sums up to 7.5 hours of rest. So, if you know you'll have to wake up at 7 a.m. the next day, you gotta schedule to doze off at 11:30 p.m. Planning on setting your alarm for 8 a.m. to rise and shine and get off to work or school? Then, your optimal bedtime starts at 12:30 a.m. You got it right, it's not about the earlier the better. If you missed your bedtime for some reason, wait an hour and a half before the next cycle starts. This way, you won't wake up tired and exhausted in the middle of your sleep cycle. We've all had those days when we're so exhausted we can hardly wait to get into bed, and then sleep just won't come. Sleep experts call it conditioned or learned arousal. It's one of the most common sleep problems these days. It most likely happens because something in your sleep environment is screaming to your brain to wake you up and not make you doze off. The worst thing you can do in that situation is start scrolling through your social media feed or work emails on your laptop. First off, the blue light your gadget's screen emits restrains the production of melatonin. That hormone is in charge of your sleep-wake cycle, aka circadian rhythm. Second, the mere expectation of those work emails and prospectively bad news or more tasks to do makes you nervous. Each new message you get means another decision your brain needs to take, and it has to stay active for that. That's why calming it down could take a good while when you finally put your phone aside and lay your head on the pillow. To get there faster, try listening to music for 25 to 60 minutes before bed. It doesn't have to be Beethoven and the like. Some other relaxing tunes, like jazz or folk songs, slow your heart rate and breathing and help your muscles relax. When you do it regularly, your brain will take it as a before-bed ritual, and you'll fall asleep even faster. It can also be a special sleepcast or an audiobook, as long as the narrator has a soothing voice and the story isn't shocking. The sound of frying bacon has a similar effect on your mind. It's comforting and repetitive enough to send some chilling vibes to your brain. It's perfect for falling asleep and as white noise while you're working and need to focus on something. You don't have to fry bacon before bed. Listening to a recording of it will do. Your report that's long overdue, the new person at work who seems to like you. Should you go see that movie everyone's talking about? And when will you finally sort all of your laundry? All those thoughts racing through your mind before bed won't let your brain unwind. Try getting up and writing down all of them to clear your mind of that burden. You could try putting them all in one painting or composing a poem. Another idea is making some meaningless lists in your mind. Plan what you take on a vacation on Mars or how you decorate your restaurant. It all works. You don't really have to know how many hours you have before your alarm clock goes off, so set it and hide it from plain sight. Put it in a drawer or under your bed. Every time you look at it, your brain sees it as a wake prompt. You quickly get used to this process and might wake up at night just for that. You can also try tricking your mind and stop trying to get asleep at all. You've probably noticed how much easier it is to doze off on your couch than it is even in the most comfortable of beds. Imagine you have an important test or job interview in the morning. You realize you need to get 8 hours of healthy sleep, but you aren't tired at all. You get into bed and try forcing yourself into it, and then, when you have just 4 hours of sleep time left, you move to the couch. The living room is a different environment, most likely filled with good memories. Most importantly, your brain doesn't associate it with you forcing yourself to fall asleep. Without all that pressure, you relax and get your well-deserved Z's in no time. Now let's talk about some physical things that can speed up the process of you falling asleep and improve the quality of it. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Most sleep experts agree the best bedroom temperature is around 65 degrees. Your body temperature naturally decreases to initiate sleep, and this room temperature range helps boost this process. If you keep it too hot or too cold, you'll affect the quality of REM sleep. Shades, curtains, or blinds will help you make your bedroom dark enough. Switching the bright overhead lights off won't send you to dreamland immediately. The best you can do is get some lamps, a dimmer switch, or candles to keep the lights in your bedroom low-key all evening long. And make sure you spend some time outdoors in the morning or earlier in the day to get enough natural light. It'll keep your body clock on the right sleep-wake schedule. You'll never really declutter your mind in a cluttered space. Even if you're okay with it, your brain isn't. It interprets the mess in your bedroom as another task to be completed. Until it's done, it can't totally relax. Start with decluttering your clothes. They belong in the dresser, not on the floor or your armchair. Go through your paperwork. Better yet, keep your bills, lists, and papers out of the bedroom. Your books belong on the bookshelves. Don't pile them up around your bed. One is enough. Otherwise, it's another subconscious to-do list. Sort the artwork. If it's too chaotic or intense, it can also stimulate your brain to process it instead of calming down. If possible, keep the space under your bed clear, or at least sort the stuff you keep there and put it in vacuum bags to save space. Remember, your bed is for sleeping. It's not a home office where you can always answer a phone call or respond to emails. It's not a movie theater for watching late-night TV. And it's not the place to snuggle with your pets. They can easily interrupt your sleep as they start moving at night. You most likely sleep in one of 3 positions. The majority of people are side sleepers. This lateral position is pretty good for you, especially if you prefer the left side. Try not to curl up though. It may prevent you from breathing deeply. Sleeping on your back is called the supine position. No matter if you sleep with your arms down and close to your body, or like a starfish with your arms up over your head, it could make your lower back feel uncomfortable and take your snoring to the next level. This position is good for your neck though. To make it easier on your back, put a pillow between your legs to align your hips better and decrease the stress on your lower back. If you prefer to sleep on your stomach, it's the prone position. In this position, you tilt your head up and your neck muscles press on the important arteries going to the brain. As a result, your brain doesn't get enough blood, and you could wake up with a headache. So, stomach sleepers, you might want to reconsider your choice. Master the technique of progressive muscle relaxation. Your muscles that have been working all day need to unwind, just like your mind does. It's a kind of meditation that goes like a waterfall through each and every muscle in your body. You can go from your head and down to your toes, or in the opposite direction. First, take a deep breath. Then, tense your toes. Hold them like that for 5 seconds, and then relax them for 30 seconds. Move to your calves and thighs, and do the same. Contract and relax. Continue to your abs and the backside. Move up to your hands, then your arms and shoulders. Don't rush. Go muscle by muscle and focus your mind on what you're doing. No external thoughts allowed. Finally, work your chest, neck, and don't forget about your face. Tighten your jaws and then relax them. If that full body relaxation is too much for you, at least work out your toes as you lie in bed. Curling and uncurling them for a while is a great way to release the tension from your entire body. It's so repetitive, your body starts slowly moving into sleep mode. Plus, it works out your leg muscles and even your abs. You can also try one of the many breathing techniques. Blowing bubbles, for example, relaxes your body and takes your mind off problems that distract you from going to sleep mode. Moon breathing is popular in many countries in Asia as a way to calm down your nervous system and improve your sleep cycle. Want to give it a go? Put a finger on your right nostril and breathe slowly and deeply through your left one. The yogis believe this way you only get the passive moon energy. It slows you down before sleep or whenever you need to calm down quickly. Use all of your acting skills and hum like a bee. It's like a spa for your mind and nervous system. Humming turns on the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone, and serotonin, aka the feel-good one. To make it work, you gotta lie down on your bed, close your mouth, inhale through the nose, and hum like a bee on your exhales for about 10 minutes before sleep. Have you ever heard of the 10-3-2-1-0 technique? The idea is to stop taking caffeine in any form 10 hours before bed. Then, no food at all 3 hours before bed. You must stop working to take your mind off things 2 hours before sleep. No more screen time 1 hour before bed. That includes your phone, TV, and computer. Finally, the 0 in the formula stands for the number of times you'll hit the snooze button in the morning. Experts confirm this technique works miracles and will help you sleep well and wake up energized the next morning. If you can't survive without a pre-bed snack, a grumbling stomach is no fun at all. At least pick the right and healthy food. When you consume caffeine or fatty foods high in sugar, it takes a long time for your system to digest that stuff. That's why your body temperature rises. It won't help you get a good night's sleep. Instead, get some almonds before bed for a longer and deeper sleep. Another healthy and effective before-bed snack is walnuts. They contain omega-3 acids that kickstart the production of serotonin. The best you can do for your sleep, diet-wise, is to have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Bananas help your muscles relax, thanks to potassium. Eggs are rich in protein that helps healthy sleep. Oats and honey send the right amount of melatonin to your brain. You can also get a cup of chamomile tea, eat some kiwi, or have a bowl of rice. Foods you should avoid before going to sleep, unless you want to be awake all night, are cheese, fatty food, and all things spicy. Another sure way to spend more time quality sleeping and not tossing and turning in bed is to take a warm bath or shower an hour or two before bed. Even 10 minutes can help change your body's core temperature, relax both the body and mind, and make you fall asleep no problem. Now, are you 100% happy with your pillow? It should be just the right size, not too fat and not too flat. If your neck and shoulders don't get sufficient support or are curved at a weird angle that makes them twist or crunch, this puts your spine and body out of balance. As a result, you wake up with discomfort in your neck, shoulders, and back. It also happens when you've overused even the most perfect of pillows. Ideally, you should replace it after 18 months. That doesn't sound like a long time, but then again, you spend 2,500 hours a year with your head on it, so it's not that bad after all. Memory foam pillows can last longer, up to 3 years. A natural pillow is also more durable than a synthetic one. Ready to test your soft sleep companion? First, take off the pillowcase and give the pillow a thorough look. If it has stains from sweat, is torn, or smells, it does need replacing. Pillows collect dead skin cells, mildew, mold, fungus, and dust mites. Over time, these unwelcome guests become a crowd that can interfere with your sleep because of their odors. Then, fold your pillow in half. If it lies there folded and doesn't spring back to its original shape, it's time to start looking for a new one. You can choose a light and soft pillow filled with down, feathers, and other fillings. A good quality down pillow won't be cheap, but it's worth it if you want that natural material and super softness. Memory foam and latex pillows are heavier than lightweight choices, but unless you want to reshape it and move it with you while sleeping, it can be just fine. Your mattress also matters. Most of them have a lifespan of 8 years. If yours is much older than that, it's time to find a replacement for it. The 3 most common types of them are inner spring, foam, and adjustable. Side sleepers will feel more comfortable with a softer mattress. Stomach sleepers need a firm one, and back sleepers land somewhere in between. The good old inner spring option will give you that bouncy feeling with its extra durable interconnected coils. It's smart to choose a firmer, well-quilted mattress and get a replaceable mattress topper to make it last longer. Memory foam mattresses have less spring and give you more pressure relief. They mostly have several layers of foam, heavier ones on the bottom and lighter kinds on the top. There are also hybrid mattresses with 2 central elements, an inner spring support core, and a foam comfort system. It's the perfect blend of bounce and contouring and low heat retention. It works for sleepers in any position. You can also experiment with an air-filled mattress with a remote that lets you control how much air is inside. Sleep is such an important aspect of your life, it gave rise to many myths. Let's see which of them are actually true. Some people say you can reduce sleep time by an hour or 2 every night and feel just as good. Sleep experts beg to differ. An average person needs between 6 and 9 hours a night. You must already know your own number. You can force yourself into earlier wake-ups and feel seemingly well at first, but your sleep debt will gradually build up. As a result, your brain won't be able to function to its fullest. Your concentration level will drop, your reaction will become slower, and you'll feel confused and distressed. If you know you'll have to reduce the amount of sleep for a certain period of time, try banking sleep in advance. Experiments proved going to bed a couple of hours earlier than usual every night for a week could help you suffer less once you have to sleep less. But don't make a habit out of it. Sleeping in every weekend won't compensate for your sleep deprivation during the week. Another popular myth says putting your socks on will instantly send you to dreamland. It won't work in 1 second, but it can be one of the cues for your brain that it's time to doze off. Wearing socks promotes blood circulation to your feet. The vessels widen and can get rid of heat much faster. This drops down your core body temperature faster than usual, and that's what you need for a good, healthy sleep. You've probably heard that a long daytime nap is great for you. Naps are fine, but you'd better keep them under 1 hour and enjoy them before 2 to 3 p.m. If you nap for longer, you'll likely fall into the deep stages of sleep. You'll wake up with a groggy feeling and not refreshed at all. You'll also likely sleep off some of the sleep debt you have from the morning. It means you could have trouble falling asleep at night. To get the most productive nap, set the alarm to limit your nap to 10 to 20 minutes. Nap around the halfway point between your wake-up time and the time you want to go to bed. Find a dark, cool, and quiet place. Don't think about your work tasks or problems. Focus on what you're going to get from this nap. Do you believe the popular opinion that it's better to be an early bird than a night owl? In fact, both can do pretty well in life. It might be easier for a morning person to fit in and do better at work because of the way society is traditionally structured. Morning people are mostly more persistent, self-directed, and agreeable. But it doesn't mean you have to force yourself into becoming a lark if your productivity is at its peak in the evening. You'll feel better if you stay true to your natural preferences. When night owls wake up early, they're still producing melatonin. If you disrupt that process, you'll be doing yourself more bad than good. Your internal clock is mainly biological. You inherit the length of your circadian cycle from your parents. For night owls, it normally runs longer, and trying to change that is going against your own nature and genetics. The guy you once met at the grocery store, a friendly lady who used to serve you coffee on your way to the office. Another sleep myth says that in your dreams, you can only see faces that you have already seen in real life. This sounds a lot like the truth, but there's no way to prove it 100% right or wrong. First, your dreams aren't normally vivid enough to detect and memorize the facial or body features of people you see there. Second, they're all super fleeting. Your dreams start fading away the second you wake up, and your mind starts filling in the gaps in case you want to remember those dreams. So it's likely to rewrite the missing data with something or someone you've seen before. Finally, your brain processes the faces of people you see even if you don't pay any attention to them. So it's impossible to tell who's just a plot of your imagination and who's real. Many people are sure those who can't wake up without an alarm clock just aren't getting enough sleep. In reality, this has to do with your REM cycle. If you wake up in the middle of it, you'll likely feel tired, even if you've slept the recommended amount of hours for your age. If you don't feel like doing all the sleep cycle math yourself, get an alarm app that monitors your sleep cycles and will wake you up just at the right time. Have you ever rubbed the On Me On spot trying to hit the sack faster? That little spot is between your earlobe and the hairline that comes up the back of your neck. Videos of people rubbing it with their thumb or forefinger have gone viral. They say it helps to relax the nervous system. Sleep experts debunk this myth, as sleep is about your brain and hormones, and not about massaging yourself. One way the rubbing could work out is by exhausting you so much that you'd fall asleep eventually. Another popular myth states that you gotta stay awake all night to cure jet lag. In fact, depriving yourself of sleep won't help you adjust to the new time zone. There is no cure for jet lag, but you could try spending as much time outside as you can. Natural light should help you feel better and get some sound sleep. You can start preparing yourself for your future trip ahead of time. If you're traveling east, say from New York to London, with a 5-hour time difference, start shifting your schedule 4 or 5 days before the trip by 1 hour. So, by the time you get there, you'll be used to local time. When it's time to go back home, the same tips will work. You can also start preparing yourself and adjusting your bedtime in advance. When buying tickets for a long-haul flight through multiple time zones, pick a flight for the time you usually sleep at, if that's possible. If you normally go to bed at 10 p.m., and there are flights that leave at 7 p.m. or 10 p.m., it's a good idea to go for the second option. Wake up 2 to 3 hours earlier the night before the flight to fall asleep faster on board. Arrive at the airport a couple of hours before the flight and even earlier for international flights from larger airports. It will let you avoid unnecessary stress as you walk through check-in and security. And this way, you'll have enough time to do all of your pre-bed rituals. Want to brush your teeth? No problem. You have time for that. Do you normally read before you fall asleep? You can do that before you get on the plane as well. This will trick your body into thinking it's just another regular day, and taking your seat on the plane will feel like moving to your bedroom, all ready for a good night's sleep. Don't ever deprive yourself of some quality, well-deserved sleep. Make those 26 years of your life really count.
Ignoring fast charge. There's a rumor going that fast charge can reduce your battery life. Moreover, it generates more heat than normal charge, which is bad for the battery. Well, it may be partly true, but the most important thing about fast charge is that it doesn't give your phone more energy than it can consume. As for heat, it can be hardly avoided even if you charge your device the regular way. But it's still not recommended to use fast charge all the time. High voltage and constant overheating may harm your gadget. Letting your phone go to 0% charge. Draining the phone completely and then recharging it back to 100% is definitely not an option. Specialists say that your best range is 20% to 90% if you want your battery to last longer. If you let the battery go to 0 all the time and then juice it up, you can damage the inside materials, and it can even cause battery corrosion. Using random chargers. It's not true that all the chargers are the same. The best thing you can do to your phone is to provide it with the original charger. True, some generic Apple cable or adapter may seem as good as the original one, and even the charging time might be almost similar, but it may have different voltage. This can potentially damage your gadget. Plus, generic chargers usually don't include any protection from power surges. Charging your phones in cafes or other public places. First, you never know whether the plug is faulty or if the voltage is right. Second, juice jacking is a huge issue in public places. If you do need to charge a phone in a public place, the last thing you want to do is use a USB port. Someone can steal your personal data through it. Plus, sometimes the port capabilities are not powerful enough anyways. Going out without a power bank. That's one thing you don't want to leave at home. Power banks are much safer than any public hub. Just make sure the amperage is right. Most modern smartphones charge at 2.1 amps, and most power banks have a range of 2.1 to 2.4 amps, which is totally okay. Check if the phone's not too hot while charging. The hotter the battery, the less effective the charging is. Use charge-saving apps. Some of us do that to stay away from the plug as long as possible. Unfortunately, these apps do nothing but consume even more energy and aggressively shut down other apps. Most apps don't eat up battery when in the background, while battery-saving ones actually do. Only active processes, such as GPS or background music, really drain the battery whether you use them or not. You can restrict background apps yourself in the settings. Charging the phone in the car. Cars usually have less electricity than any phone actually needs to charge. The USB ports are low power there, so your gadget might swallow up the power much faster than the port can handle. You end up ruining your cable and battery like this, and the phone will barely get any charge. A rental car is even worse in this regard, since you never know who used that port before you jumped in. Same goes for train stations and even trains themselves. Here, the issue of data stealing I talked about earlier also applies. Charging the phone overnight. This is something almost everyone's guilty of. It may seem okay, especially if you have a smart charger that stops charging as soon as the phone reaches 100%. But as soon as your device loses a few percent, the charger will automatically top it off, and this vicious circle won't be broken until you wake up and unplug it. Just like lead-acid batteries, Lithium-ion ones don't like being either fully charged or hitting 0%. Plus, it's pretty dangerous. Most fires take place at night, and a faulty charger can actually be the reason for that. Using your phone while it's charging. This way, you can confuse the battery a bit. The thing is that the phone's going to get a bit of charge, then the app you're using will grab that energy, and the charger will top off the battery again. These small cycles tire the battery out and shorten its lifespan. Ideally, you should just turn the gadget off while charging, but if that's impossible, at least leave it alone for the time being. Leaving the phone cover on while charging. Now, it's not critical, but it's not recommended either. The cover traps in the heat, making the whole charging process way less effective. You shouldn't leave your phone under the pillow for the same reason. If you get super unlucky, it can also catch fire, and now you're having a hot dream. If you just can't fall asleep without your phone, set a timer for the media and preferably put it on the bedside table. If you want to reduce heating, turn on the airplane mode and bring your screen brightness to a minimum while charging. Stopping using your gadget with too little or too much juice. Now, if for some reason you want to discontinue your phone use for some time, charge it to 50% and turn it off. This percentage is said to be the healthiest for a lithium-ion battery. With this level of charge, you can store it for months with the least possible damage to your gadget. Don't forget to turn it on every once in a while and top off the battery. Not saving the charge correctly. If you don't lock your phone when it's not in use, it may eat up too much of your battery. Phones usually have default screen lock time set to about 2 minutes, and sometimes it's a bit too much. Setting it to 1 minute or even 30 seconds could make your battery last longer. Setting a dark theme also helps save the charge too. Another tip is to avoid using mobile data, especially if the connection is poor. The gadget's going to waste its charge on trying to find a network. Temperatures are important too. Don't expose the phone to direct sun rays, because overheating eats up the charge. If there's no obvious reason why the phone drains so fast, you should probably pay attention to cybersecurity. It could be a sign that someone's spying on you with special apps. Using the charger during a thunderstorm. Even though electrical appliances are designed for your safety, still there's a chance of fire. If you really need to charge, opt for a power bank. Lightning can fry your phone when it's plugged in. Anything you plug into a socket in the US is designed for a maximum of 169 volts. Lightning, on the other hand, can reach up to 1 billion volts. That would be more. It's also recommended to unplug all the electronic devices during the thunderstorm. And yeah, talking even on the landline is something you should avoid. Charging your phone with a laptop. The problem with this way of charging is about current differences. The phone may ask for less current not to damage the computer system. A low current charge also damages the battery, and over time, it loses its capability of holding the charge for relatively long time periods. One more problem is that connecting your phone to a laptop, you always risk to get some viruses, even if you don't exchange any files with the laptop. Data lines in the computer are something that makes the whole charging process difficult. It all slows things down. USB 3.0 ports are doing better, but they're not perfect either. Chargers don't have those lines. If the phone just won't charge, there might be multiple reasons for it: a faulty cable, low current power source, or even a broken USB port. The most common problem is a damaged cable. They have to endure a lot since we constantly wrap, fold, and drag them. Try different cables to see if the problem was about that. If the cable just won't work, try cleaning the cable jack. Sometimes, some random lint just won't let you charge the phone. But anyway, if it's corrosion, this trick is useless. Okay guys, listen up. Jeans seem to be suitable for almost any occasion. They should be slightly wider in the thigh, but always get narrower in your ankles. As for the color, go for darker shades. They're cool all year round. Ripped jeans, jeans with patches, and those with too much washing can be cool for a relaxed day off, and if you already have a pair of nice classic ones. Jeans can also make you look taller. First, they shouldn't be too long, or they're going to drag behind and gather all the dust and dirt. Plus, if the jean legs are too long, They'll make your legs appear shorter. Make sure they're always slightly above your ankle. No need to cut them though. A pinroll is a nice way out. Fold the leg to the side and make the first roll holding the fold. Adjust to the desired height and voila! The pinroll is great if you want to show off the shoes. Match the jeans with heavy boots to rock this look. Socks are important, especially if the shoes are exposed. Yeah, those socks with smiley burgers look hilarious, but if you need to look really neat, opt for solid colors. The rule is simple. The sock's color should suit that of the shoes. For example, black shoes and white socks are a total mm-mm. Your ideal t-shirt should be a bit loose. The neck matters too. It shouldn't match the shape of your chin. For example, if you've got a pointy chin and a defined jawline, the V-neck isn't the best choice. It's going to literally repeat the shape of your face, and your chin will appear even more pointy. Hey, you don't want that Wicked Witch of the West look. Remember, V-neck looks better with a square or round chin, while crew neck is better for a pointy chin. Okay, if you're quite tall and want to balance the proportions, try wearing different patterns for top and bottom. As for coats, these should never be waist length. Ideally, your coat should cover the hips. While vertical lines make people appear taller, horizontal lines do the opposite. You can choose the striped top, but if you don't have one, a belt is also a horizontal line. As for belts and other accessories, make sure their size fits you. The taller and stouter you are, the bigger the belt buckle should be. Same trick can be applied to watches, hats, and many other accessories. Accessories can make you stand out even if you're wearing the same t-shirt, same jeans, and the same shoes as everybody else. You may wear the simplest clothes from the secondhand store, but your accessories are your statement. Choose the shoes carefully. Pointy toe shoes don't really fit tall people because they make them look even bigger. Rounded-toed shoes make the feet look smaller, which might be good for those who are trying to balance the proportions. Also, thin-soled shoes can help make large feet appear smaller. Thick-soled shoes are cool for those who want to try to gain a couple of extra inches. They also may want to try special cushions. You put this cushion under your heel and whoopee, you're an inch taller. Now, suits are men's best friends, but it can be pretty hard to choose the right pair of shoes to match. Try a bit less official outfits, matching your suit with smart sneakers. Mixing sport and casual styles can be a great idea, but running shoes can only match a tracksuit. A soft, relaxed shirt is a cool match too. When it comes to shopping and getting some new garments, divide the amount of money you want to spend in two parts. Half of this money would go to basic things like t-shirts, socks, and underwear. These usually don't last long, and in order to look sharp, you gotta change them pretty often, so no need to shell out a fortune for them. Coats, suits, jackets, and belts, and other accessories are the things you want to invest in. These will last you for ages and will upgrade your look to a brand new level. Now, for formal occasions, always tuck your shirt in the trousers. Really, do I need to remind you? There are no exceptions, unless you're wearing linen trousers and a linen shirt, walking along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and enjoying the sun in your straw hat. But it's not a formal occasion, you know. Yeah, a shirt may kinda choke you, but don't undo too many buttons. Way too open shirts are a mauvais tone, whatever that is. There's a formula. For formal occasions, please keep your tie on and don't unbutton the collar. Think about the shirt you're going to wear beforehand. For semi-formal occasions, one or two open buttons are acceptable. If you're not wearing a suit and you're somewhere like at a barbecue, you can unbutton one more. But please, let's not do the disco gold chain on the hairy chest look. I'm not kidding. Now, when choosing a jacket, pay attention to several details. The accessories, such as zips and studs, should be made of quality metal. Poor quality metal gets oxidized, which leads to the color change. If you're planning to get a brand new, real leather jacket, check the leather it's made of. Grab a wet wipe and rub the leather. It's better to do that on the seam. If the dye fades to the white, it means that either an extra coat of dye has been added recently, or the leather is simply old. Don't buy this one. Also, some brands save money and use poor fabrics for lining. It shouldn't be too delicate, otherwise it'll get worn out several months later and you'll have to have it changed. Be careful with the length of casual shirts. The thing is that casual shirts are meant to be comfy for everyday life, so they're shortened and don't have to be tucked in. Dress shirts, on the contrary, need to be longer to be tucked in with no problems. Now listen up, we guys still cling to the myth that girls can be carried away only by smelling your cologne. So in case that somehow works for you, choose the scent carefully. It should match the occasion. Don't apply too much, loads of cologne is a total turnoff, so I've heard. So apply a bit to the wrists to enjoy it. Master 2 or 3 hairstyles that you can really rock. You can have a flawless outfit, but the wrong hairstyle can make it just look sad. For a denim jacket, opt for a messy hairstyle. A bit of gel or matte hair clay will hold the strands in place. Sleek hair looks fabulous with a leather jacket if you want to rock a baddie look. And you don't have to mind if your hair grows. Don't be afraid to stand out. Some people wear total black all the time. Others wear logos. Some prefer preppy kid style. All of these styles look great separately, but by mixing some of them together, you can get the best from each style. If you struggle with the shoelaces that get untied all the time, there's a trick for you. First, you go over just as usual, then you want to make a bow. Instead of going over, go underneath and pull it through. You'll get your laces right across the top of the shoe. The laces won't get loose when you walk, they'll only get tighter. Yeah, we all love well-ironed nice clothes, but if you're off to vacay and apparently there's no iron, try this hack. Put the clothes you want to be ironed on a hanger, hang them somewhere in the bathroom, and go take a shower. While you're in the shower, the hot steam will flatten out those wrinkles. Can't be compared to an actual iron, but it's better than nothing. And again, take it easy on the cologne, will you?
The snooze button seems like a remedy for a bad morning, allowing you to give yourself some time to nestle up in your cozy bed for a couple of minutes. Don't get into that trap. This trick only makes you groggier and grumpier. The snooze button makes your body believe you're going to sleep some more, so it obviously enters another sleep cycle. This way, it starts releasing sleep hormones that won't make you feel any peppier. If you get out of your bed right after the alarm goes off, your doziness won't last over 30 minutes. Instead, getting up after even a short lie-in gets you 4 hours of sleepiness. Not a fresh start. To make this groggy morning even worse, check your phone while enjoying those fake 10 minutes of a snooze. Don't lie to yourself that you do it just to keep abreast of the latest news. You must be checking social media instead. Scientists say this habit increases stress and anxiety. Plus, tons of notifications might make you feel like you missed out on some important things yesterday, which subconsciously makes you feel bad and doesn't add to your productivity. A shower instead can work wonders for those who struggle through mornings. But taking a shower every single day can be bad too. An everyday shower didn't appear long ago. With the rise of built-in showers of the 20th century, people took the privilege of lathering their bodies with soap. A daily shower with aggressive soaps washes down the drain all the body oils that keep harmful bacteria away. Many dermatologists say 2 or 3 showers a week are enough for our bodies to stay sanitary and healthy. Bonus advice: 3 minutes are enough. No need to spend half an hour under a cascade of steaming water. Off to something you gotta do at least twice a day. If you brush your teeth after breakfast, sorry, you're doing it wrong. The thing is, nasty bacteria gather in your mouth overnight, and if you have breakfast before you brush your teeth, you share all those morning sugars and carbs with them. When they thrive, your teeth aren't happy. If you just can't resist the temptation to grab a cup of coffee right after you wake up, wait 20 to 30 minutes after you've finished. Many foods and drinks weaken the surface of our teeth, and brushing can make it even worse. It's best to brush your teeth first, and then enjoy whatever you enjoy for breakfast. No need to brush them again after you finish the meal. Just rinse your mouth with water. Coffee before 9 a.m. is a no-go. Cortisol, the stress hormone, doesn't really get on well with the liquid happiness, aka coffee. This hormone isn't only responsible for stress, but for sleep cycles too. Its levels spike between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Coffee only adds to anxiety at this time. so it's best to grab one when the cortisol level is at its lowest. Cortisol also spikes between noon and 1 p.m. and between 5:30 and 6:30 p.m. Try to stay away from coffee during these periods. Plus, cortisol always increases by up to 50% right after you wake up, so you'll have to wait about an hour after you start a new day before gulping down that liquid bliss. Most people feel tired twice a day, at 2 a.m. and 2 p.m. But since humans are the only mammals who can delay their sleep deliberately, most of us never have a midday nap at 2 p.m., the perfect time to grab some coffee. If you still want to doze off for a couple of hours, be careful. Make sure you have it no later than at 5 p.m., or you'll find it really difficult to fall asleep that night. Don't forget to open the blinds. Morning daylight helps us release cortisol naturally, so we're ready to start a new day. A morning workout is a great way to charge your batteries, as long as it's kind of soft. Aggressive movements can harm our spinal discs that absorb water overnight to rehydrate. By the way, it explains why we're somewhat taller in the morning. This process stiffens our spine, so flexing and bending too much might be a bit dangerous. Workouts aren't the only way to wind your body up. Meditation is an awesome alternative. If you don't feel like doing anything of this kind, try coloring or some other activity that releases stress. Taking time to relax is the key point. There are many foods you should stay away from in the morning, even though they seem like breakfast classics. Toaster pastries are packed with carbs and sugar. So are nut spreads and breakfast cereals. Such food as waffles, pancakes, and buns made of refined flour have very little nutritional value. Fruit juice, despite its healthy reputation, is usually just some sweet water. Plus, it doesn't make you feel full, unlike real fruit. Another bad guy in disguise is a granola bar, which only boosts your cholesterol level. In fact, there's not much difference between a candy bar and a granola one. Make sure your breakfast contains proteins. Carbs usually mean energy crash a couple of hours later. It leads to blood sugar crash, which is bad for your productivity and makes you feel sleepy, tired, and grumpy. Banana protein smoothie, scramble, or quinoa are good examples of long-lasting energy food to keep you focused for several hours. Making your bed right after you wake up isn't right too. When you do it, you also make a cozy home for tiny dust mites. Your pillow, blanket, and sheets seem clean and okay, but these little guys thrive just inside. They love dark spaces like your mattress. Bad news, you can't see them without a microscope, but even if you don't see them, it doesn't mean they don't chill out in your bed. So, if you cover them up while making the bed in the morning, they're going to be kind of grateful for creating an idyllic environment for them. One thing they're terrified of is sunlight. Now you've got a perfect excuse not to make your bed if you're too lazy. A good morning starts with a good night's sleep. If you crave sweets before you go to bed, it's for a reason. Chocolate soothes and calms down, so it's easier to fall asleep faster. Watch out for caffeine. Even chocolate has some small amounts of caffeine, but it can be enough to disturb your sleep. Anyway, it's better to avoid food at least 1 hour before you go to sleep. Hearty meals will be too heavy for any digestive system in the evening. Evening food should be light. It might be some snacks, milk, or cheese. Eating breakfast for dinner is really helpful for those who want to fall asleep faster. Bananas, eggs, and toasts are all rich in potassium, protein, and carbs. All these elements can help relax and aid sleep. So, consider having a Brinner if you've had hard times falling asleep. Check the temperature in your bedroom. When it's too hot, it may be really hard to fall asleep. Stick 1 foot from under the cover and let it cool. When it's a bit cold, you'll fall asleep faster. Another trick you may try is to cover yourself with a wet blanket, but this one is valid for tropical heat nights only. Also, if you take a hot shower first and then go to a probably much cooler bedroom, your body temperature will significantly drop. You'll fall asleep as soon as your head touches the pillow. Make sure your pillow is neither too high nor too low. If you like sleeping on your stomach, you may want to try putting your pillow right under your stomach to make it more comfortable. The best pillowcases are made of silk. Your face literally glides on it, so it won't get wrinkled in the morning. Hair doesn't rub against silk either, so it won't get messy. Not all pillows guarantee sweet dreams. Some of them make you sleep in an unnatural position and don't support your head. The pillow itself isn't that likely to cause backache, but it can possibly worsen some of the old conditions. Without a pillow, you'll sleep in a more natural position, and you'll probably feel better in the morning. If you find it almost impossible to fall asleep, you're probably not tired. If you fail to fall asleep after 20 minutes, you should probably get up and do something relaxing. Some nice calming ambient music will do.
Store your cotton buds in a toothpick bottle. This type of packaging usually has a dispenser in the lid. It will allow you to pull out one cotton bud at a time, and you can be sure the remaining supply of your hygiene items is protected from dirt and water. Pretty handy, especially on the road. A toothpick container is also a great storage solution for glitter. Let's say you're going to a music festival. Put your glitter in the bottle and pour the needed amount through the small holes in the lid when you need it. And the rest of the time, the lid will protect your bag from spills. If you don't trust the design of your toothpick container, use some tape to secure the lid to the bottom part before you go. The ring holder on your phone case makes it easy to use your device with one hand. You can send texts, take selfies, and watch videos while lying on your sofa. But it turns out that ring holders can also help with cooking. Remove the ring and attach it to a standard metal jar lid. Place the lid vertically on the food you're currently slicing and hold it this way. Your fingers will be protected from accidents and the slices will be evenly sized. Tea candles usually come in small aluminum cups. When the wax burns out, you can take 2 cups and make a tiny box for storing small items, such as pushpins, jewelry, paper clips, and so on. First, remove the remaining wax. Clean the cups and make 2 small triangle folds opposite each other. This will make the diameter of the bottom cup slightly smaller than that of the top one. This top cup will serve as a lid. You can also use a small piece of tape to secure it to the bottom part. When you're going on vacation, you can store mini soap, picnic spices, vitamin pills, and earplugs in such boxes. Don't forget to mark them with a permanent marker or stickers to avoid confusion on the way. A plastic toothbrush container makes a great travel box for small jewelry or memory cards. No need to spend tons of money on a fancy phone holder. Fold the temples of your sunglasses this way and put them on a flat horizontal surface. Now you can put your phone inside the emergency holder and shoot your TikToks right away. If you have an empty Tic Tac container at hand, this phone holder idea is for you. Cut the box into equal vertical parts, like this. Prepare a piece of cardboard slightly larger than your phone. Glue the Tic Tac halves to the cardboard so that your phone fits perfectly in the middle of this construction. Voila! Also, feel free to make the same holder for your tablet. But make sure that your gadget isn't too heavy for this construction. Here's another budget idea. Don't rush to throw away an empty tape roll. Use a ruler to mark 2 points on the opposite sides of the roll. Then, cut out 2 small inches that will hold your phone. Perfect balance and almost zero waste. Cut used plastic straws into small rings. Put 2 to 3 tablespoons of this stuff on a clean sheet of paper. Then place a sheet of paper on top of it and iron the whole thing. The rings will stick together into a single piece of plastic. Cut out an even circle and you can use it as a coaster for glasses and mugs. Use a meat beater to decorate your cookies. Place equal balls of dough on a baking tray. Now, press them down with your favorite side of the beater. You can dip the beater in cinnamon before doing this to add flavor to your cookies. After baking, you'll get a pattern that can be covered with cream or honey. A simple plastic bottle cap can make a great emergency soap tray. Butter from the fridge is usually too hard and cold to use right away. There's a way to speed up the process. Fill a large mug with hot water and wait until the material it's made of heats up. Then pour the water out and cover the butter with the mug. The surface of the butter will melt, and you'll be able to spread it on your toast with no problem. And if you need to soften the entire piece for baking, cut the butter into small pieces and hold them under the hot mug for a bit longer. You can reuse a plastic lid of wet wipes. Remove it from the package and stick it to the hardcover of a sketchbook or a notepad. Now you have a pocket to store small stationery. Or you can secure two plastic lids together and get a comfy travel box for pills, earplugs, and other small objects. If you have a lot of old Lego pieces that you don't use, don't throw them away. Build a fancy birdhouse or a colorful pot for home plants. You don't need to use a single nail to build this storage system. Use double-sided tape or glue to stick a flat Lego panel on the wall next to your entrance door. Add this specific Lego piece to every keychain that belongs to you and your roommates. Now you can store all your keys in one place. Lego also makes a great book holder or a stand for mugs and candles. Have you run out of picture frames? No problem. Use two large clothespins as a stand. Attach them to the bottom edges of your image, and a creative picture frame is ready. You can make it more stable by gluing the photo to a piece of cardboard. You can also use the same construction as a napkin holder when you're dining outdoors. Remove the dispenser from your dishwashing gel or facial toner. Wash it very thoroughly. Now you can use it in the kitchen to squeeze ketchup and other sauces from the bottom of a bottle. Also, this device is handy when you decorate pastries with cream patterns. If you need an emergency dog bed, take a clean tire and put it in a large pillowcase. Add some toys and pillows. There you are. If you don't have any tires, a life buoy will also work. Here's an easy way to stay warm and cozy on a frosty night. Fill several plastic bottles with hot water. You don't need to boil it. Hot tap water is fine. Make sure the bottles are closed properly and put them on your bed under the blanket. They'll heat up the mattress very soon. You can put socks on the bottles to not burn your skin. And if it's extremely cold, fill a large canister with hot water, wrap it in a wool sweater, and hug it. Sweet dreams! Want to know the best way to peel garlic? Put separated garlic heads in a saucepan and cover it with another saucepan. Now shake the entire construction vigorously, and the peel will fly off by itself. Don't rush to spoil your delicate cheesecake with an ordinary knife. Take a piece of dental floss, wrap its ends around your fingers, and cut your precious dessert without ruining its structure. This trick is also good for cutting Jell-O, tiramisu, and soft cheese. And here's a brand new butter cutting technique we should all adopt. Use a large knife to make such stars on the surface of your butter. This will make it way easier to cut the product into smaller pieces because this way, the butter will melt faster. And these triangular-shaped pieces of butter will be perfect for your toast. Here's another recipe for space lovers. To liven your breakfast up, arrange 2½ sausages into a star and use toothpicks to help them keep the needed shape. Break a few eggs into the middle of the star and fry this with the lid on until it's ready. Bon appetit!